messing with my head again. You had your heart messing with my head again. You had your heart set on me, but these feels, they come and go, and they come so easily. Tell me what it is about you that I can't forget, but you're breaking down my walls again, just to set me free. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Staying up when I go out, you gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling?
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been fighting ways to get away, to see you again, see you again. We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken. I know I'm not always strong. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been fighting ways to get away, to see you again, see you again.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you
Hello everybody and welcome back. Guten Abend, dear Leute, because we are back for the German Masters Session 2, and it's the walkout of Shaun Murphy and Judd to see which one of them will be worthy of a title here at the German Masters in Berlin. Is it going to be the second for Judd, or is it going to be the number one and only for Shaun Murphy? Still think that Murphy has got a thing or two to say about it. But in the end, it is going to be Judd show. And, well, listen, he's managed to win this tournament 3 times before. And can he make it 4 tonight? We've certainly seen some great winners over the last couple of years. We've seen some surprising ones. Karen Wilson and Judd not so much. But Ali Carter and Zhao in 2022 and 2023 seasons certainly have been quite a shock at that point. Well, Ali Carter managed to make it into the semi-finals where he lost out to Judd. Zhao couldn't quite make it a mesmerising campaign to remember, as he's still looking on to build that rhythm ahead of the World Championship. But 2 players that certainly have done that are going to try and battle it all out here at the Tempodrome in Berlin of Germany. If you want a bit of an overview of the first session, well, it's been pretty quick and pretty interesting to watch, especially from the neutral perspective. Judd took a storming lead and certainly with a commanding performance had a 2-0 cushion to try and build against Shaun Murphy. The Magician managed to respond before the intermission and levelled it back up with 2 frames each before storming out came Judd once again, winning 3 frames on the bounce at that point. And took a really nice 5-2 cushion. It looked like it was going to be 6-2 with a couple of flukes along the way. But in the end, Murphy just managed to find that very important win in the A-frame, which still just about is keeping him within the touching distance of the ace in the pack. Are you all going for Murphy tonight? Yeah, I mean, listen, if Murphy manages to come back from 5-2 down to win this one, 10-8, he certainly deserves it, and I just hope that we're still not going to witness a bit of a destroying performance from Trump, because he's certainly capable of those, and every single time he had a final this season, he's gone on to produce a better performance than he has in the opening session. So how's the crowd been, please? I mean, they've been absolutely brilliant. No mobile phones ringing, with a couple of exceptions. Brilliant noise, and yeah, as I say, you're going to watch it on the compilation. They have been enjoying the action, and the players have treated them to an absolute banger here, as Trump is about to get us ready for the frame number 9. And boy, you're ready for this. Now then, 2 different perspectives. Trump wants to try and keep that advantage of over 2 frames, and Murphy needs to make sure he's going to be able to just cutting those gaps away to his opponent. Still yet to lead a frame in the final. After Judd came here certainly to play, but an early long shot available here to Murphy, and that's going to be a nice little settle for him to try and get into a chance, although he's going to overrun the cue ball massively. Super close to the yellow pocket. It's a really clean pot straight into the heart of the pocket. 2 cushion bounces there for the cue ball before it's gone over the yellow pocket, and the yellow itself is probably going to be potable, but it's not quite going to be an easy shot for Murphy to take, but he's taken it well. And maybe we are going to see the return of the Murphy that we've seen against Allen, against Karen Wilson. And yeah, just trying to build all the pressure here. And against Neil Robertson, I forgot his name for a minute. As he tries to take this red into the right corner, gives a little nudge to the black. But I don't think that's going to do too much damage to Murphy's chances. Brilliant chance once again, well taken by Murphy. And of course it's only going to be 4 points and 3 shots that he's made as he takes the black along the black ball cushion. So this is a really tough start for Murphy, but he's been able to deal with it really well. And now all about the next couple of shots to try and get a firm hold of this frame right now. And yeah, I mean, the crowd has been absolutely brilliant. One of the best ones, certainly, that I've seen from this point of view. You know, you've had, obviously, the Alexandra Palace, but that was the size, you know, and the noise that the crowd kept making. But, you know, it's the Belfast and it's the German Masters here at Berlin that actually stand out. It's probably the best ones that we've seen. And we all remember what happened in Belfast. And I think from neutral's point of view, you certainly want to hope that history will repeat itself. At that point, it was 17 frames, but of course, it was the maximum number. This time around, we can be taking it 2 steps further and potentially seeing 19 frames of action. Murphy got a lot in this tournament, emotional, I believe. Not sure if you mean that he got emotional a lot during this tournament, but he's been super calm to me and showing no stress, no worrying at all, especially with the way that, you know, he's done that with his body language, but also with the way that he's played the game up to this point. But you know what? The flukes just keep on coming, and Shaun can't complain too much. He had one of those in the previous couple of frames. I think he was in the frame before, and Murphy just had an absolute banger of a fluke all the way that red has gone into the yellow pocket after missing a shot into the right corner at the same time, trying to split the reds all together. And it looked like he rushed that shot slightly, but in the end, you can't really criticize him too much. He had nothing to play for, so had to go for that red into the right corner, and in the end made it into the complete opposite part of the table, although that's going to cost him. That contact on the yellow is going to undo all that work, and the blue, that Marcel Edgar, the referee of the final of both of the sessions, is going to putting in the way of the cue ball. Or so I thought. I actually think that the cue ball might be able to pass the blue on the right-hand side and still go for the red into the right corner. And yeah, certainly going to be very interesting to witness if it is a response from Murphy. Still a long shot, but he's taken it really well. And look at the cue ball pace. He's overplayed this one, you know. And somehow, with all the way it bounced from the black ball cushion with such a tight angle as well. I mean, incredibly difficult to see the cue ball bounce away higher than the bulk line. Certainly playing that shot with a bit of safety, but he should be on the brown into the middle. And it's not too difficult shot, especially if you could compare it to the previous shot on the yellow that he had to play. And once again, taken beautifully. And I mean, so much happened. It feels like we've been going on for 3 or 4 frames. And yet it's only been 38 points scored. And Murphy's marching on towards making a perfect start here to the second session for the neutrals and for his fans, of course. Needs to make sure he's able to put that 5-3 of a difference in between 6-2. Because, as I say, if the opening session would have ended 6-2, this frame would be still pretty irrelevant to the domination of Judd, but because it didn't, it is going to be a great chance for Murphy to get back within 1 frame for the first time since frame number 5. And Chompy is going to be very much aware of the form that Murphy can produce, especially when it comes to his snooker. And just asking to clean the white there, Murphy. And he goes from strength to strength. Switching over to a rest shot, which he's been brilliant at so far this week. And rolls this one in nicely into the right corner. So 47 points is going to be his advantage. And still 83 of those potentially up for grabs. Just looking to see this black disappearing into the left corner as well. So that's going to put him 54 points ahead. As he now finds a brilliant angle. Once again, I mean, Shaun Murphy somehow manages to over-cue those shots. And you can see that he was aiming for a shot into the left corner. But he played it so well with so much power on the cue ball that he should switch and play the one into the left middle instead. Murphy's old manager, Brandon Parker, is the trophy up for winner. Well, I mean, you couldn't write it, could you? And it's for the first one as well. You know, Chomp has done it 3 times before. And, of course, 4th one will taste just as good as the previous 3. Especially with how long he has been without a trophy. But Shaun Murphy just needs to be over the line here in the frame number 9 first. He's got a difficult blue to be taking on. And difficult from the perspective of getting on the next red. Ooh, he's tried to hit it onto the pink. And is he on the red? I'm not sure about it. And yeah, he had a straightforward blue in terms of taking it into the middle. But a lot more difficult when he came to getting the position on the next red. And yeah, I think it's way too marginal for that to be taken on. Similar story to the one that we've seen in, I think it was 2nd frame. No, it might have been later than that, to be fair, where might have been the 7th frame, where Judd had a 64 points advantage. In the end, Shaun Murphy had a brilliant long shot that he's taken, tried to make that comeback with 67 points at the table, but missed an easy black off the spot. And let's see if history is going to repeat itself, because technically there are enough points for Trump to come back. Murphy trying to play the wise shot, covering the black, but still getting fantastic cue ball control, getting it onto the ball cushion. So 60 points, very good start for him of the second session. Not quite a frame winning break, but certainly the one that will get him into a comfortable position for the next couple of shots. Although, I mean, as I say, 75 points available, and you know, if miraculously there was a fluke to come in for Trump into one of those corner pockets and he was to land on the collar, although it looks like the yellow, the cue ball I should say, is going to be super close to the pocket. Ooh, I mean, that's jammy, that is. That is super, super jammy and super lucky that from Trump, because it looked like the cue ball was going to be nowhere near the pocket. Then it looked like it was going to be in the pocket, but in the end he just jawed him. And has he jawed him still? I'm not sure, you know. Murphy may be able to see this red, but well, it's not really the point of the match where you want to be taking those gambles. Can I see it? Can I not see it? Because if we can't see it, I tell you he's in trouble, because neither of those reds are going to be away from the... Sorry, going to be close to the cushion, whether he's going to be black ball or left or right side. And therefore, it's going to be super difficult for you to try and land the contact, so that, you know, you're not going to leave one of those reds. Or, of course, another thing for Murphy to be aware of is not give away a free ball. So, sure, well, you can't really complain too much, because he had a great stroke of work himself to continue that break of 60 points. And, well, he's going to be forced to play this off the side cushion. This is going to be dangerous, but it's going to be interesting to watch. Two cushion escape, and is he going to be close? He's going to be too close. And remember when I said that comeback was on for Murphy in that frame? Well, I'll tell you what, Judd has got a brilliant chance to extend his advantage. And that 60 points is not going to help Murphy too much. He becomes the second best favourite for this frame right now. The only slight issue that Trump has is probably 2 points to it. He's got the crowding of 4 reds, which are still playable perfectly, but just slightly too close to each other. And then he's got 1 more red quite close to the right side cushion. The introduction is easy though. Roll this one into the middle. Try and hold the cue ball for the black with a nice little bounce of the black ball cushion. And he might have actually got too much of a bounce. I think he needed to be alongside the black, or even slightly lower than it. In the end, he's going to be on the upper edge of it. So played off the side cushion. He should be able to try and get on the next red. He chose the other option, which would have been to play with topspin. Clearly had more angle than I thought. And, well, an extra boost to him is going to be the fact that the black is going to have to go onto the pink spot, because of one of those reds occupying the black spot, obviously. And he might want to keep it that way for a while. Let's see if he's got the chance, though, because the easiest red is the one that takes all the pressure away from the black ball spot. I actually feel like, and I think Judd is going to agree with me on this one, he may have been better off trying to keep the black and play all of his shots through the pink spot. And, of course, he can try and play for the blue, which is what he's done. You know, slightly surprised that he has to try and make it work like that, because he always could have tried to put the black onto his original spot and then still keep the pink as the backup option, which is going to be more than playable. Quite close to all of these reds as well. So, yeah, this is a perfect opportunity now to try and test the patience and also the skills of a true champion, because this is certainly going to be a steal. And, well, if WST are going to make a drama headline about it on YouTube, then it certainly should be about this frame, if Trump is able to make around 12 shots or more. Before the match begun, the votes were in favour of Murphy to win the final, but not now. Well, obviously they're not, because the match has changed and Trump has a lead, and also it could be about to extend his lead even more. Certainly put a lot of pressure on that comeback being possible from Murphy's point of view. He's managed to basically sort out the minor issue that I mentioned, getting those crowding of reds past each other. So he's got one more thing to worry about, and he may be about to fix it now. He's got a red to be played into the middle, into the corner I should say, and he was trying to get at the back of the red, close to the side cushion, and yeah, he got himself into a bit of trouble here because he didn't touch the red, and still compromised himself quite badly on the position for the next color. So he's going to have to take it with the green, which means a lot of backspin is going to be required for the cue ball to go down the table. And he has played it about, well, just about fine. I'm not going to say perfect, because he would have liked an angle to try and drop the cue ball on for the pink. And in the end, he's probably going to be trying to stun this one. And well, getting behind the red is going to work if you're going to try and commit to it to be played along the side cushion. But, I mean, it's going to be slightly weirder one for him to try and play. And he still went for a kiss. And, well, you're probably not going to get this one in, because it's a really difficult shot, compromised by having to bridge over the pink. I feel like Trump should have just sent himself to try and go for that shot along the side cushion, because this one is going to be more difficult than that. And he can try and knock this one in, but 27 points. I don't think it's worth it. And yeah, right decision. Battled it out on the safety play. So 27 points as the difference in favour of Shaun Murphy. He only needs a red. And Judd Trump needs all of those reds and colours. So 8 shots needed for Trump, but only one of them will do enough of a task for Murphy's point of view. And I thought Judd was the favourite. No, surprisingly, it's a fair comment that Murphy was actually the favourite, but he was the favourite to me. You know, if you should have seen him play against Wilson, Allen and Robertson. Those three were super dangerous before they come to face Murphy, and then he managed to destroy absolutely every single one of them. And yeah, now then, Murphy just trying to get the red to be on that bulk line, in behind the yellow, brown and green. And Trump could just about see an edge of that, and let's see if he's managed to improve on the idea that Murphy had previously. He has. He certainly has. It's a brilliant shot there by Trump, because he puts the brown in exactly the straight line. With the red being so close to the cushion, this is going to be super difficult to hit from the same cushion that red is going to be planted on right now. And yeah, well, if Murphy's thinking about trying to go the long way around, so all the way down to the black ball cushion, trying to return it to the top, he needs to judge the pace perfectly. Good news is, of course, he's the one that has more points. So, technically speaking, of course, he can afford to basically hit around 10 of those foul shots. If it's going to be 4 points each, but he doesn't want to. You know, that luxury of just needing the red, no matter the colour, is going to be very much another factor for this frame to pick its winner. I still think Murphy has got a good chance of winning the frame, but of course, if he didn't have a snooker over him, these chances will be boosted massively. And you can see the little shake of the head there, just confirming that he's got absolutely no clue on how to hit the red. And it's going to be a beautiful comment and compliment from Trump's point of view. Don't think he's likely to leave a free ball away, if that's what you're thinking. Because, as I say, all 6 colours, barring the yellow with the slightest distance in between its own spot, are going to be on their spots. And with the red being on the side cushion. Right then, so Murphy, basically from the yellow pocket, is trying to find the left-hand side of the spine, so of the pink and the black. It's a good line, it's a really good line, and I think he's hit that one absolutely spot on. Let's see if Trump is going to try and go for this red along the side cushion. It's very similar to the one that he refused, and tried to play a cannon on it. And yeah, I think he's not going to be committed to it, or is he? I mean, I thought he was going to play a safety shot. No, he's taking this one on. And this could be for a frame win. And for a massive lead. And he is going to be... Well, the red's certainly going to be in. And the steal is still on here for Judd Trump. Let's see if he's going to be able to just calm the pressure down. Calm himself down. We have seen it before against John Higgins at the Masters. When he was super close. He's done all the hard work. And yet it all gone horribly wrong on the last brown. For him to be over the line. Now, he's 23 points behind. He's 27 that he's got on the table ahead of him. So just taking this yellow into the green pocket. And then you've got 5 more colours all on their spots. And perfect positioning once again on the cue ball. This should be an easy task here for Trump. Just getting over the line. A bit of traction there on the green that he's put on. Trying to stun the cue ball. Put it slightly further away from the brown. make it easier for the blue to be played. And yeah, this feels like a big frame, certainly, especially if Trump is to go and complete the clearance. You only need 3 more shots for that to be the case. Big frame win. Well, it's not frame win just yet. As I say, we've seen what happens with Higgins. Just make sure you're over the line first, and then you can praise Trump all you want, which I'll join in, certainly. Now he's got 2 more shots to be taken. The blue made no problem. He's slightly awkwardly placed on the paint, but once again the side should do him enough of justice to be taking this one on the side cushion, and as he has, just a bit of distance in between the cue ball and the black shouldn't be too much of a problem. So then, a shot for the comeback to be completed, and a 6-3 of an advantage to be his for the taking. It is perfect from Judd. He had to do it in 2 of those tries, which usually is going to be a bit of a problem for you. Shaun Murphy felt like he's done everything he could to try and get that red along the side cushion. In the end, he pushed it too close to the green pocket, and it proved to be enough for Judd to be taking that red into the green pocket, and what followed was a straightforward clearance for the world number 1. The ace is surely in the pack now, and let's see. That's going to sting. It will sting. And now it's the champion's mentality that needs to kick in from Murphy's point of view. You can't treat this one as 5-4 because now he's 3 frames down, but yeah, you have to try and do something about it, because if you're going to throw your hands in the air and do nothing, then the gap is only going to get bigger. And as much as I say, you know, Judd hasn't been too good when it comes to the middle point of those matches so far. Can't see Murphy winning. I mean, I still can, but he needs to win the next frame for that to be the case. If it goes 7-3, unfortunately, that's going to be another one of those comprehensive Judd performances in the finals. Must-win frame next for Murphy. Yeah, he needs a couple, really, but at least he needs the 10th one because, you know, 6-4 is still there or thereabouts. We've seen that being done. I think he was actually behind to Anthony McGill in that British Open final, 6-4, 6-5 or something. And then he managed to completely turn the page in frame number 15 and just go on a little run of his own and basically, yeah, destroy McGill in the end point of that match. But it all going to come down to which Trump is going to turn up in the frame number 10. Because remember, Trump had a really cheap frame there, because as much as, you know, you have to praise him for that shot on the red, and I will, but it really was Murphy's mistake there that cost him badly, because he didn't have any problems trying to be over the line. You know, he had that 60 points of a cushion, but you always knew that he needed one more red and colour combination for him to be over the line. And I feel like if Trump needed snookers, it will be a whole lot different story. And you know, especially if he didn't manage to land on that first red. One thing that you have to praise Trump for, he has been playing the percentage shot so far on pretty much every single one of the occasions where he wasn't certain what to play. You know, he obviously had that fantastic fluke in the 4th frame. And, oh, you can see the Brandon Parker trophy just waiting for one of the players. It certainly looks really good in the yellow spotlight. God always loves shining there. And this time around, it is Shaun Murphy's break-off. Once again, just trying to guide the cue ball off the right side into the left. But is he going to leave another red away into the right corner? Not this time around, it would seem. So let's see if Trump has got a chance to try and take one or two of those reds into the left corner. So playing the cue ball to be sent onto the left part of the table. And once again, gives a little nudge to those reds, just making sure that he's not going to compromise the black, at least by intention. And covers up the left-hand side of the table himself. Pretty smart shot there by Trump, because that is going to make sure that he's going to come back to the table for one more time, because Murphy can't afford to go for the red into the right corner. And, I mean, that's the way to shut me down, because that's a brilliant shot there from Murphy. I didn't think that red was on, but Murphy certainly thought so. I mean, what a corridor did he found. Brilliant there from Murphy. I mean, absolutely staggering. That has to be the shot of the final so far. I mean, I'm trying to justify my mistake in the best way I can, but that was brilliant cueing there from Murphy. And make no mistake about it, he certainly deserves that little kiss on the brown that got him into this position. I mean, brilliant long red as well. But the position of the cue ball was even better for it. Because if he misses that red, by the way, I mean, it's a brilliant safety that he's played. And now he's going to get himself a wonderful chance here. Just make sure you utilize this one to 10 points more than the last one. Get yourself 70 points or so. And then just make sure you're not there for the taking. And listen, all of a sudden, 6-4 doesn't look anywhere near as bad as 6-3. And you still get yourself in with a great chance. Best long potter in the game. Exile, he's the runner-up for me. I still would go for... Well, listen, if you go on average on the actual season profile, you have to say Chom for me. But this tournament, no doubt. I mean, Murphy has been absolutely supreme when it comes to long shots. And that has been a real weapon for him. Murphy, that, yeah, obviously, as I say. I mean, the tournament, you can't doubt it. I mean, he's cued those shots brilliantly, and I think if you make a stat about it, he's going to have the best percentage of the ones that he has taken on that have made it into the pocket. Also, I think his control of the cue ball has been supreme on those. You know, I've seen a lot of shots from Chom that has been a brilliant raid, but it doesn't seem to land on as many colours as someone like Murphy does. And in the end, it's still, well, just as I praise his positional game, he seems to have made a slight mistake here. Or is it going to be a slight mistake? Because he needs to bridge over this raid to try and place the cue on the white. And has he played it well enough? Well, he has to drop the red in, but I think that's going to be costly for him in terms of getting the position on the black. So 18 points, it's not really going to be the break that Shaun Murphy would have been dreaming about. And, well, basically, you can try and roll the cue ball through, but you always needed a bit of a... a touch on those reds to try and basically get it out of the way. And, yeah, basically just focus on the black into the left corner instead. He's maybe about to give away some of those foul points. And you can see that. I'm not sure which colour he called. I'll have to watch that space later on. But I'm actually not sure that Chomp is going to be taking on shots which, well, basically putting Shaun Murphy back there. Because Murphy certainly doesn't feel like it. And he's gone back to his seat, so I don't know if that's going to be a bit of mind games, but probably not in snooker. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Murphy has gone back straight away, because maybe just giving Chomp a bit of thinking time, because if I was Chomp, I genuinely would not be taking this on. I know I said it with Murphy, and it backfired badly, and it's going to backfire with Chomp, because he's taking this on. But I would watch the space of the cue ball, because it is going to be in the nowhere zone for me. And, well, just about, well, it's still a bit of nowhere. It's a brilliant shot there by Chomp. The cue ball just making some moves around the blue. And, well, make no mistake about it, the pot was excellent. And got slight favourable kiss of the reds there. Right underneath the pink. But it's still not going to be on an easy colour. If you take the blue into the right corner, you may be alright to continue the break. But ideally, you want to be taking the green into its own pocket. So Chomp is clearly going to go for the blue, but I'm just saying that it's quite nasty for you to try and be so close to the blue here. Just have a look at the cue ball, because as it makes its way past the blue, it just seems to have a swerve around it. And yeah, there you go. It was a horrible swerve there. I mean, that's clearly has been a mark of some sort out there, because the cue ball is just putting side spin around the blue and making the moves there with the white. So yeah. Glad it's not Halloween time, because that would have been really spooky for Chomp to see. Because I'll tell you what, if it doesn't make that swerve, the cue ball is in perfect placement there for this one to be taken. So Chomp still commits to it, and has he played enough on the cue ball's point? I think he's alright, you know. I think he's trying to take all the pace away from the cue ball and focus on the pot just about enough there. You can see the referee just ensuring that cue ball trip is not going to repeat, and clearing the blue ball spot and its surroundings as well. But Chomp needs another great shot, and I don't think he's going to get it, because the cue ball is going to be into the left middle. So unfortunate that from Chomp, but I can't say that I'm surprised. He needed a really good sequence of 3 or 4 shots. In the end, he was able to find 2 of them, and not quite manages it on the third one here. Let's see how far away has he pushed the red over to the side cushion. And, of course, it's not going to be a free ball opportunity, which I'm pretty sure Murphy has been dreaming about. He's got 12 points advantage, 107 still at the table though. So let's have a look. If he's got the chance to try and take this red, I say he takes it because, you know, his long pop game shouldn't praise too much before he actually takes the shot, but he's been really good. And he gets it brilliantly once again. And look at the bounce of the cue ball, brilliant. And it's absolutely perfect on the pace. I mean, he's got the 3 ball colours very much at his feet. Incredible cueing that. You can see the bounce away off the side cushion is massive. And then the way he gets so much traction and pace away from the black ball cushion. I mean, Shaun Murphy, well, if he's going to win it, this tournament, surely he's going to be based on around 40% of the success on his long shot game. Because of how high level it has been so far. But he still needs to find 7 frames. Now to the next, what is it going to be? 10, which sounds horrible. But it is doable. 7 frames out of 10. He needs to win 70% of his remaining frames here. But ultimately, he just needs to make sure he's going to start to put away some of those chances. And not allow Judd to return back to the same frame action here. Murphy can make the white thing. He can. And, you know, it's a brilliant shot that he plays. So, just a bit of a stun shot of the blue. Now getting himself to be lined up for this red to be taken. Still needs to be aware of the fact that the black and the pink are both out of position. One is more potable than the other. And, yeah, 23 points is still not going to be enough here for Shaun Murphy. As he tries to make his way around the pink here, you would seem. And just play for the blue. Maybe even settle for the bold colours, because he tried to make some extra power on this one. And in the end, it seems to have worked out nicely. It doesn't have too many of those reds to try and aim at, because of them being bunched up. But, well, I mean, I say he doesn't have too many. He basically has one that is going to be underneath the main pack. And it's going to be the only loose red. So let's see if he's going to try and make it into the pack here. Oh, I don't really like the line. And, well, I don't think he's going to be lucky with that one. I thought the cue ball was going to get past the black, and I actually realised last second it may not be the worst idea, but in the end, it just clipped the black, and he basically put it back onto the same place that he was. And he can pot the red if the black wasn't there, but if it doesn't exist, and the black certainly is going to be in the way of that target ball to be played. Sounds tough frame placement, yes. I mean, really difficult, especially now that he can't continue the break. Just trying to send the cue ball close to the green pocket. Doesn't want it in the pocket, though. And it's about as good as it gets there for him. Very close to dropping it in. It would probably not have made a massive difference, but always nice to keep that 4 points to yourself. And, yeah, it's now 27 points of a deficit here to Judd. And he can try and make some ground here. He's done it before, and he's done it a couple of times in this match already. So the way to start is by playing a safety shot like that. Absolute beauty. He had 5 reds super close to each other, and the cue ball in a difficult position. Well, guess what? Shaun Murphy now has 6 reds bunched up next to each other, and the cue ball in a straight line in relation to all of them down the spine. Super close on the ball cushion. Brilliant safety there by Chomp. Just looking to, well, force his opponent to try and separate those reds away from each other. That's what he's done. And is he going to play this shot with just about enough power? I mean, doesn't want the cue ball to run too far away. And I'm not sure he is going to get away with this one, you know. He's going to force Judd to try and take a long shot. But, I mean, I'm not going to say that he's going to be a punishment, because Chomp may well try and do something that he's done in the previous frame. And he certainly has started the same way here. Brilliant long red. And could we see another comeback? The problem is here. I mean, at least I could see a problem in the previous frame. I can't see one now. You know, the black being out of position, the pink being out of position, but that's pretty much it. All 4 reds are going to be playable. Quite close to each other, but all playable. And then you've got one more loose red right next to the black ball cushion. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to Chomp, especially with the way that we've seen him basically enter his prime. And if he loses this frame, Murphy, especially in the way that he's about to, if Chomp is going to make this break, the one that counts, surely he's going to be bye-bye title hopes. Because he's not going to be able to recover from that, I'll tell you that. Because Chomp is just going to be thriving of those mistakes. And he still has got a brilliant game of his own to develop. Plays the red on the top part of the pack. He's able to get himself on the blue, quite awkwardly though. And he could have done with being slightly closer to the yellow or to the blue. So all about having a chance to try and take this one into the left middle. Blues with 4 reds still, yes. So basically try to get the cue ball into those reds. Has he worked out? I don't think he has, And I'm surprised with that. Really surprised with that mistake from Chum. Unless he's got a plant into the right middle, which we have seen one of those brilliant plans before. It was by Murphy, one of the shot of the match as well. But, I mean, so much distance in between those two reds. He can't play with too much power. And, yeah, you can see disappointment in his face. You can barely see that, to be fair, because, doesn't seem to show a lot with his body language and doesn't seem to give away a lot of those emotions, but certainly won't be happy with the shot that he's played. He's still in this frame, but not quite in the position that he was previously. And it is now going to be 18 points of a difference. And Shaun Murphy still has a good chance to try and do something about this frame. But he needs to make sure he's going to be the player that gets the next chance. And ideally, as well, he doesn't want the cue ball into the pocket. And that's the way he's heading. Just about pulls up enough there. So pretty much a deja vu to the previous shot that we've seen. Trump pretty much doing the same thing, but with the green pocket. But exactly what Shaun Murphy has done. It was the thing that he needed to do. Because he's got that 18 points advantage, he doesn't need all 4 of these reds. But Judd Trump does. So the way for you to try and go forward is going to be to get this red into the side cushion and force your opponent to make it at least slightly more difficult of a clearance for him to try and perform, as Trump clearly going for that lone red. Hasn't worked out, and is he going to give it over the middle? It's going to be close. Well, I mean, it is close, but I think it's just about alright. Although the same can't be said about the long shot opportunity, but this is going to be a super tough shot because of how little of the pocket you've got. Of course, technically, if you do the maths of the angles, the closer it is to the side cushion, the more of the pocket that you've got available to you. Which is why sometimes it is easier for you to play a shot into either one of the pockets when it's from the paint spot or something. But Murphy will take this one on. Whether he'll get it or not, probably not. What a shot. Brilliant there from Murphy. There was a bit of a delay because I genuinely didn't think he was going to be able to get it. And now just needs to make sure he repeats that success with taking the yellow into the middle. I mean, that's a cracker. I said that previous shot there by Trump was super nice, and the plant from Murphy was brilliant, but this one is certainly going to be above the plant. The problem is, he's played it too well. He had to play it carefully because, it was such a difficult shot. He needed to make sure he got the cue ball into that zone of the ball cushion, basically. And he's going to play a safety shot. Puts the green onto the side cushion. It's sort of part of the plan, though, because, if he hadn't got that red in, of course, it would have been a chance for Chum to try and do something about it. But also, he just manages to put the green onto the side cushion. And Trump still has to try and make his way through a couple of difficult reds before he's going to be able to make himself a real threat for this frame to be stolen as well. I'm not sure if you could call this one a steal. Well, you can now. If Trump is going to be able to get himself on the run, because he's played a cross double and he was close to the pocket, and not only that he was able to drop this one in, so there's no hand of apology. I was watching that space, so he certainly meant that, although it's be pretty weird if Judd, with the way that his safety game has been so far, I've been playing a shot like that whilst not trying to get into the pocket. And once again, it's going to be a single point, which is not going to be too much of a great news. But he's able to land a really nasty snooker here on Shaun Murphy, because he didn't quite get it in behind the yellow, but he was able to play the cue ball onto the side cushion, bounce it away into the diagonal spine there of the brown and the blue. So just thinking about the way that Murphy can escape this one. Of course, had the green not been on the right side cushion put by Murphy somehow, actually, he would have been having a straightforward one cushion exit door. But he doesn't really want to do it from the left side, because there is always going to be a risk of hitting this red too thin on the edge and basically forcing it closer to the right corner pocket. And it's not going to be aligned with Murphy's plans. He's already Only 31 points that he's got in the poll. And if he loses this frame, I'll tell you, that number can be halved. And line looks good, but I mean, yeah, it's a perfect shot that he's played. He could not have played this one any better, but I'm still thinking that Chomp may be considering the shot into the left middle of the yellow pocket. There's nothing wrong with that by Murphy, and I think that's probably the way that he has to try and go on about the business. You could see the real reaction from him as the camera went to his chair and saying that, well, I've done my bit. Let's see what Chomp is going to do. And what Chomp is going to do is try to cut this red in into the middle. Missed it. The cue ball was always going to be bouncing away onto the bulk. And this is a good chance here for Murphy because these points are going to mean a lot to him. If he takes an expensive red, an expensive red, that will be something new. If he takes a red with an expensive colour, that will be a great point advantage. But for now, he's got a long shot to try and navigate his way through. And, well, I have to say, I really, especially after the previous one, I thought he was going to nail it. And in the end, he didn't. So, yeah, the red is going to bounce away quite nasty for him as well. And be left basically over the left middle. So, Chomp is going to be having chance number 2 for this one to go in. Very rarely you see Chomp miss 2 pretty much identical shots on the bounce. And you won't see it this time. Played it really well. Manages to push the green. I was going to say away from the side cushion, but he basically put it down the side cushion. And closer to its own pocket. Still going to be playable, but I think he has to settle for bringing the green into the open play here and trying to get the cue ball to be once again in that spine of the brown and the blue. So he is losing those points, of course, but he can afford to do so for now. Just doesn't really want to have the necessity to play the black with the total clearance required. But I think we are heading towards that direction from Chomp's point of view. So another point. And another snooker lined up on Murphy. So as long as he makes his way out of this position from the first time, maybe even the second time will do, he still is going to be very much having a prime opportunity to close the frame away in his favour. But we've said it before, and on 2 of those occasions where he was really close, the first one wasn't really a steal because Trump was able to just dictate the flow of the second part of that frame, but the second one, on the frame number 9, certainly was. Brilliant shot though by Murphy. That was super difficult of a line. 2 cushion escape, and still finds his way perfectly onto this red from the first time as well, has to be mentioned. Trump will probably try and get this red into the black, get the black into the open play, because there was a little shake of the head as if to suggest, well, I may as well do that now. Could have done without hitting the blue on the cue ball, because that would have potentially left a snooker lined up for Shaun Murphy. And in the meantime, Murphy's still going to be faced with a pretty difficult shot here. And needs to either get the double kiss in his favour, or judge it so that he won't have to concede the double kiss. I think he's played this one absolutely beautifully. Let's see if the cue ball is going to be passing the blue and the pink, but I don't think he will. And that's going to put Judd Chomp into, fairly new situation for him. Didn't have to play out of a lot of those snooker escapes before. He does have to now. And he needs to play with power, it feels like. He's missed it. Where's the cue ball going to finish? 4 points is going to be handy for Murphy, but probably not at this stage. Ooh, he doesn't want it too close to the blue. And, yeah, so the red basically won't go past the green, which would have been good news for Murphy before that snooker was lined up. Because if the red passes the green, Murphy takes the position away from Chomp and basically puts an end to this frame. For now, he still needs a couple of those fail points there from Chomp, does Murphy. Because he's 21 points clear, 35 of the table. All of these reds and colours are now playable. And he's hit it from the second time perfectly into the face. And, well, I'm not going to say Murphy should have taken that shot. There was nothing in there in terms of the face value. And right now, it is another long shot available. We've seen one brilliant made. We've seen one not so brilliant missed before by Shaun. But I have to say, if you're going to be the champion, you need to be taking those in. And maybe that's a sign of things to come. Unfortunately, he misses the red and now needs a good bounce. But I don't think he's going to get it. And once again, it looks like all the puzzles are going to be in favour of Judd Chomp. It's been a very low scoring frame. But it's not going to matter to Trump right now. He's got a brilliant position to try and find himself the winner of frame number 10. Gets the red, which probably would have been the harder shot, I would say, of the break that he would need to do. And, ooh, I mean, yeah, he's still got the black, so shouldn't really do a massive move there. But I thought he was going to be compromised by the blue, and he is. The problem is he's still got the black over the pocket. I say the problem is as if I'm spurring Murphy, but I just want the match to go slightly closer than it has been. And, you know, both of these frames could have been won by Murphy. That would have brought the gap down to basically none. And make it 5 frames each. Oh, I tell you what, Trump has misjudged this pace badly. And he's going to be fuming. And for his confidence sake, and for his reputation, he needs to take this yellow. But, I mean, I'll tell you, you could not have placed it anywhere more difficult for this shot to be playable. This is really nasty, and this is really important for him. Yeah, especially that front jaw just sticking out. He played it in the middle instead, and somehow he still manages to get it with a wonderful shot there, Trump. I mean, it probably would have been more difficult to try and roll it into the yellow pocket, but the cue ball control had to be sublime. And Trump said, I'll certainly take care of that one. And all of a sudden, once again, he's in prime position for this frame to be taken. Does he need the black here? It doesn't really matter because it's on the spot. And, well, probably the only minor thing where he can go wrong is going to be on the paint, but he's still way too far away from the side cushion for this one to be a problem. And he will need the black, as my math says, because he can only force himself to guarantee a respot with the pink, and he still needs the black to be taken with it. Now then, needs a big bounce on the cue ball, and it doesn't look like he's going to get the brilliant bounce here. So, well, he can either try and take this one into the green pocket, which is not really going to be the brilliant short selection, because that's going to gift him the way of this cue ball to be played for the black. Is it in? It is certainly going to be into the pocket, and well, Murphy is not going to be smiling about this one. He's going to be absolutely gutted by the time that this black is going to disappear into the right corner, which it will. It is Judd very much back in control, and 7-3 advantage. He's going to be thrashing the hopes of Shaun Murphy to try and make it a super competitive final. It is now Judd surely beginning to run away, and the curse of Xi'an Grand Prix and Mark Williams just seems to still be there for Murphy when he's played such great snooker to get himself into the final. But in fairness, both Williams and Trump so far have played fantastic snooker, and it is Judd that is going to have all the aces with him. And, well, let's see if it is going to be a very early end to this match. And, well, it's not often that you have got the second session to be going quicker and faster than the first one, but this may just be the case. And for the first time in this match, Judd is going to be closer to winning this final than Shaun Murphy is going to be to Judd. GG's frame, and Murphy's in trouble. Murphy's been in trouble for a long time, and he has, but there always has been a way for him to try and get out of trouble. I'm not sure there is now, because basically he finds himself in a situation where for every frame that Trump wins, he needs to be finding 2 of his own. And don't really see how that's going to happen, because, you know, he's managed to win 2 frames in the opening 2 encounters. Letitia's back, and Letitia's back for the best possible time. Trump just won 2 really difficult frames. It could have easily been 5-all. In the end, it is Trump that has got massive advantage here of 4 frames. And he's going to be trying to do something about it there, Murphy. I don't think that Trump would like to see anything change in the momentum. And yeah, I have to say, before the match has started, I do have to say, so many people have had Murphy as the favourite, so did I. I genuinely thought this was going to be the fairy tale story for Murphy, and the Trump curse is going to go on for at least one more tournament, but I mean, I did say Trump is going to win this one 10-8, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be anywhere near close to that in terms of the scoreline. Murphy needs 2, well, ideally 2 frames here. 7-5 seemed better, but at least it's better than 7-3 down. And of course, now I'll bring him onto the intermission. Just once again, an attempt to try and regroup, come back, and Play the best snooker of the tournament once again. And he's been really struggling with those chances. The problem is you've got two components which don't really mix in Murphy's favour. You've got Judd playing the snooker of his life right now, especially in this season. And just making those... I'm not going to say that there's been drama, but I am going to say that Judd has been on the receiving end of things throughout pretty much every single one of those frames. Especially the sort of close ones that he won. But Murphy just seems to have that sort of advantage of 60, 40, 50 points, and then he doesn't get over the line, and every single time he doesn't, Trump is there to pounce, and I think he's stolen 1, 2, 3 frames easily like that, and you take away 3 frames from Trump, or at least, 2 of them, and you give them to Murphy, and that's 5 each. But instead it is going to be 7-3 advantage to Trump, and it's only going to get worse, because Murphy right now, he's going to be very close to the position of him needing to take those risks. He's not quite there, but 8-3. And he's going to have to go for every long shot that presents itself. And that's only going to make things worse. But that's the only thing he can do at that stage. Because if you're going to be passive against someone like Judd Trump, when he's got that advantage, you go for those long shots anyway. And with the confidence and the momentum that he'll have, he's very likely to make them work for himself as well. Right now, this Trump that once again finds himself tucked in onto the ball cushion. Plays the cue ball, and plays the reds into the pink, and may actually give away a long shot chance here for Murphy. Let's see if the cue ball is going to find the pace for that to be the case. And, I'm not sure. Murphy's going to have a look at this. But I'm not sure that he's got enough of that red to try and aim at. Just about no. And, yeah, Murphy's not going to be happy with this one. You can understand why. Super close, because had that red been potable, it's very unlikely that he misses it, and it still would have been a bit of a lottery in terms of trying to get on the next colour. Update on that is the black and the pink, as they have been throughout the majority of these starts of those frames, are going to be covered up by the reds, and compromised quite badly. And, well, the good thing about Murphy for now is that he doesn't seem to get desperate, which... I mean, I'm not going to say that's the best piece of news because it doesn't actually mean anything. It still leaves Trump with a chance of just going for these long reds with a lot more frequency. And then as long as he's able to maintain that percentage of in making those at least 60% of those long shots that he takes, he should be sweet for just averaging a frame win for every 2 that Murphy wins. And I have to say at this stage, it won't be enough for Murphy. Because that'll get him into the decider, but in the end, it will still be the Trump, the winner, if you follow that scheme. Murphy found no better option than to try and bounce the cue ball off that red, closer to the left corner pocket, which has done a pretty good job of doing. So just thinking about maybe going for a shot into the right middle right now. But I think that all of these reds are going to be in the way of each other, so he's going to try and send the cue ball on for the yellow, and he's played this one pretty well, and he's played it really well, to be fair. I'm just looking to see the grades of the problem that Murphy finds himself with. Of course, it has been a trademark of Judd Trump, and you can see that, I love that from Trump, he's not happy because he's not perfectly dead to the yellow, and, well, Murphy clearly was trying to find the line there off the right side. He's able to do it, and as long as there's not going to be any of those reds that form a plan to the left middle, he should be fine here. Do you know where the World Grand Prix will be from and on TV in the UK? So, he's going to start on Tuesday, which allows the likes of Judd Trump and Shaun Murphy still to travel to the Hong Kong. I'm not sure that both of them will, because basically they're going to have around 36 hours in between this match is going to finish, and then it is going to be the start of the World Grand Prix. I'm not sure that their matches can't be rescheduled and basically swap with someone else, but as I say, with how strict the rules are sometimes in Hong Kong, not sure that will be able to be done. But another thing, if that's going to be the option of doing that or losing one of, or the two of Judd Trump and Shaun Murphy, surely that they're going to try and do their best to make sure to change the schedule just to fit 2 more of these great players in, which I know that Trump is in that World Grand Prix. I can't believe that Murphy wouldn't be. And, well, another interesting shot there by Trump, because as much as he's going to be close to the brown, he's probably still not going to be close enough to it. And Murphy is going to scan the table pretty much from the 1st to the 15th of those reds and have a look himself if he's got the chance to try and roll this red into the left corner. And when I say roll, power his way through. And he certainly has powered his way through. Is he going to be on the colour though? Unfortunate. Really unfortunate. He had basically 2 packs of reds to miss. He's missed the first one, but not quite the second one. And he caught it so much that he basically created a bit of a domino effect, forced the cue ball into another red. And if he's going to continue the break, he needs to take a difficult blue on, which I don't think he'll do, especially with having to bridge over a couple more of those reds. So I think he's just studying the escape route for the cue ball to be sent to the top part of the table. And yeah, TNT Sports, yeah, I've got no clue, I'll be honest, because I can't see it being a problem. Because as I say, we just finished the Champions League phase, so it's going to be a while since we get to the playoffs. And also, well, it's not a while, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be next week, is it? And also with it being at 5 o'clock, as far as I'm aware, for the afternoon session, because of the time difference in Hong Kong. And the evening session is going to be 11 o'clock in Europe and in the UK. So that's relevant, of course, because we are in Germany right now, technically, with the German Masters being played on the screen. No surprise there, Murphy just going for a safety shot in the end. Clearly doesn't feel like he wants to be taking unnecessary risk for now. So he still backs himself to try and win those frames on the level playing field. Not sure that's going to happen, but I respect the attempt. I just think it's going to be relevant till one of those shots from Chomp will punish Murphy badly. But, I mean, that's really unlucky, to be fair. That's really unlucky from Chomp, because he's played the percentage shot once again, trying to force the cube onto the side cushion. And with how tight the angle was, I can't believe he found the back jaw of the middle pocket. I mean, that's super tight. A millimetre to the right, and then he would be absolutely fine for the safety. Instead, he's left this red perfectly on the plate for Murphy, and well, you're not going to get any more gifts in this frame, surely, because if Murphy's unable to put this one away, then nothing can stop Trump from winning this tournament, surely. Murphy playing on Hong Kong, yeah. Have a look at the draw, and for the simple reason of, you know, Murphy's going to be taking a bit of time on those shots. I just want to see when they play, because, as I say, I know that Ronnie's playing on Wednesday. I know there's no matches on Monday, so Murphy's not playing on Tuesday, and neither is Chomp, which is brilliant news. I'm not sure if they've done the rescheduling already, and both of them are actually playing perfectly at the end of all of these matches. And meanwhile, Murphy is able to get the blue and the red away, so I mean, they're basically playing in evening on Wednesday, so that's really nice for them, and yeah, I can't really believe in that being an accidental thing. And fair play to the organisers in Hong Kong for that to be the case. And yeah, clearly just being on top of the game. Ooh, I mean, that faded super badly. I think the referee's seen that. It's not the first time that something like that has happened. So, yeah, I mean, nothing has been said, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, look at this. This is horrible there. The blue just basically going on his side. It's still Judd, by the way. I know I haven't mentioned it, but I would have been screaming, oh my god, what just happened? It's not fair on Murphy, and, well, unfortunately, it's not going to get any better. He played a rash shot into the right corner, and he didn't get it. So, despite him playing for the blue, he's still going to leave some of those reds away, and I feel like we're getting into a bit of a zone where, you know, once again, you can find so many similarities with that match against Mark Williams. Murphy just starting to make those unforced errors after being unable to finish off the chances. And now it's chance for Judd Chomp to try and make his break very much go the right direction for him. Now just Murphy. Well, I mean, he's got nothing else to do than to look at the scoreboard and to see what Chomp can do about this position. And I'm not going to say that he's likely to return to the table, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. You know, we've got, 11 reds in pretty difficult positions there, with the first shot not being the perfect either. You know, Chomp trying to play for the blue. So puts the cue ball slightly further away from those reds. I think Murphy too attacking for Judd doesn't threaten him. He seems to thrive off that. Recent meetings, Chomp has his way with Shaun. Expected closer though. Still time with now he's played this week. Yes, absolutely. Brilliant point. Nothing wrong with that at all. But that's why I thought Shaun Murphy was going to be the man to beat. You can say that Judd Chomp's the world number one. You can say that he's been a real threat and he's won the German Masters before. But form is going to matter more to me. But as I say, I'm not going to be surprised with it because I've seen it this season on a couple of those occasions. John Higgins is going to be the perfect example where he was destroying players in the International Championship, as was Weezer, yes, but then, you know, John Higgins just hit the wall at some point and he was unable to continue with the same mentality and, intensity, I mean. And, just could do nothing with it. And, well, you can actually make a point that there was a bit of fade on the cue ball's point of view as well, which compromised Murphy on his next shot. And that's going to be certainly very interesting for the lovers of the conspiracy theories, because, I mean, certainly has put off Murphy in terms of his next shot. Whether it made a massive difference on the cue ball, I guess we'll never know. But whatever it was, he can't obviously blame it on the previous frames that he's lost. And it's still a chance away to Chomp. And 6 points is going to be his advantage. So he's going to lose the pink onto the brown spot, which is going to be a slight problem for him. And especially, well, I mean, this is tough there for Chomp because he's got the black covered up. The referee is still trying to respot the pink. Meanwhile, Chomp feels like he could have taken the thread 20 times before. But the concerning thing about it is that he's going to be on the wrong side of it. So he needs to use the side cushion, and he hasn't used it well enough at all. He needs to hit the yellow now. I mean, I can't believe he's looking at the green straight away. He's basically going to be getting the cue ball to be heading towards the bold cushion. This is going to be a marvellous shot if he executes it well, but he wasn't even thinking about going for the yellow. Now then, 1, 2, 3 cushions. Needs to pass the blue. I mean, I genuinely feel like it would have been a lot simpler to do it off the yellow, but yeah, I just feel a mistake coming up there. One and only the world number one. I mean, he's the world number one for a reason. And barring all those misjudgment from Murphy, he ain't going to care. He's played brilliant stuff, and he's just played another brilliant red. For managing to find the path of the cue ball where it didn't look like it was possible. Getting himself nicely for the green, or for the blue. He's got a short selection here to be made. So if you bounce the cue ball off the side cushion, it should be fine for this one to go the direction of all of these reds. And that way, it'll give him a nice little path for those reds to be dropped into the right corner. In the end, 14 points is going to be the advantage here for Chomp. So he's still going to need majority of those reds. Don't think he'll need all of them. By the way, match time of overall playing time, I should say, has hit 3 hours. So, I mean, 3 hours for 11 frames pretty much. Well, 10.5 certainly is incredible because that's 180 minutes. And you're basically averaging less than 80 minutes per frame. That's incredible in the final, especially after so many frames are being played. And that's the beauty when you've got two attacking players. And I always knew that it was going to be exciting no matter who made the final from the last 4 appearances. And especially with the way that Murphy and Chomp were able to outplay Carter and Robertson. It always was a great setup. And I did have a feeling, as I say, that this was actually going to go one way or the other. But once again, make no mistake about it, I had Murphy very much as the prime target for me. Certainly not surprised with the response that Chomp came away with. And he's just looking to strengthen his grip on that title. He certainly has got one hand on it. Especially with only being 3 frames away from glory. And his opponent being further away from him. And then he is from clinching that title. Once again, playing those shots with the reds beautifully. Taking the black onto the pink spot is going to help as well. He's got 36 points advantage. He's got 59 points to try and make his way through, which is not going to be a problem at all. Because if he takes 2 more of those reds away, he will be comfortably over the line. And if 7-3 was a statement, 8-3 is going to be a white flag being thrown. Because there's no way in the world that I would expect Shaun Murphy to win 7 out of the remaining 9 frames. Doesn't mean that it can be done, but certainly has been a while since I've seen that done against Judd, and I've seen it done in one of the sort of lower rounds. Not quite when it comes to the last 4 or certainly the last 2. I mean, the Higgins comeback was good, but it was in semi-finals, and also it was John Higgins, the king of the comebacks. Right now, it's 45 points as the advantage for Chomp, and if he takes the black into the right middle again, and well, there is going to be a point for Murphy to try and resume this frame, but there's not really going to be a chance for him to basically try and fight for it on the terms with Chomp, because he's got 52 points of a difference, so 3 snookers needed, and well, there's not going to be any point now, because it's a brilliant red that Chomps takes away, and he's played another fantastic shot there. He's not going to be on the yellow, which may be a bit of a concern. But we can try and place his cue past the green to get to the yellow, and still technically, somehow, he's still going to have a chance to go for a century break. Plays another great shot off the yellow onto this red, and there's not going to be any contention for Murphy to come back to the table. And yeah, you can see that slowly unlucky with the bounce that he received off the cushion, but that's the way that they have been so far. Slowly unforgiving to shot like that. And despite it not being a century break, it is certainly going to be another frame win for Judd Chomp that extends his lead now over to 8 frames to 3. And also, he has managed to win, give me time to do my math, 6 out of the last 7 frames. A nightmare stat for Shaun Murphy, and I thought he was going to be able to turn the page after he won that brilliant frame of number 8. In the end, he seems to have been more of a just, well, an exclusion, and all of the rest of those frames have gone the way of the world number 1. We've got 1 more frame, and then it's going to be intermission, and then you never know, it may only be 1 more frame away from glory, from Judd Chomp's point of view. And Murphy has to fight back until he can't. But 8-3 certainly not going to be the best helping hand for him to try and basically keep the game plan, which would have been try and play on level terms. Basically try and treat the score as if it's not there for him. And try and take each of those frames as one at a time, because that's not going to work against Judd Chomp now. He needs to be going for everything. He needs to be taking everything. And even in that case, there's still not going to be a guarantee for him to be the winner. And, well, we've seen some great comebacks. We've seen 7-2 being overturned on 2 occasions, from Neil Robertson to Ronnie O'Sullivan and Joey Long and Mark Allen. But it feels like, you know, both of the players probably were expected to put up a really good fight. And Robertson and Allen slightly have taken their foot off the pedal. And probably one of the last people that you would expect to do that is going to be Judd Chomp. Chomp will be relieved to get hands on a trophy again. Been a while, yes. So, was it the end of November in 2024, which means there's going to be 1, 2, yeah, basically 14 months since his last trophy to be made for the world number 1. Has been at the top of the game for a while. This is going to feel like eternity. Let's actually have a look. If you look at the UK Championship archive, well, there's nothing happening in the frame anyway. So the exact date of Judd Chomp winning that title was at the 1st of 12th. So at the evening of the 1st of December. So that's going to be exactly 14 months, because it's going to be the 1st of February today. And well, surely now it's written in the stars. It's not going to be, well, let's happy for him. Yeah, that's fine, but let's not write Shaun Murphy off just yet. No, I know it's 7 out of 9 that he needs to do, but I've seen worse. I've seen bigger comebacks. Probably not against Chomp, it has to be said, and probably not with Murphy making those comebacks, but it's the first time for everything. And Last thing that Judd is going to be doing right now is underestimating his opponent. But first thing he's going to be doing is going for this long red. I guarantee you there's not going to be a safety shot being played now. He can afford to go for it, and he can afford to, well, I mean, surprisingly there, as I say, could have put all my life savings on that red being taken into the right corner. In the end, it wasn't. So just a safety shot being played. Surprised, but I'm not going to say I'm disappointed by it because, you know, just want to keep the match going. Yeah, I'm really surprised with that. Because the line was there. The cue ball was going to be left for the black. Yes, he would have been leaving those reds available to Murphy, but, I mean, I have to say, no respect to Shaun, but he just feels like you give him an open goal opportunity, and it still may take him a bit of effort to get that red in. Come on, Judd. Yes, tough ask now. Yeah, well, it's an impossible ask, but we have seen things made possible. Once again, this time around, feels like he's playing to the camera because the camera didn't change his view last time around. He has now, but I genuinely feel like this red was more difficult than the previous one, and he missed it. He's gone onto the bulk cushion. He's bounced all the way back to the black bulk cushion. He's still missed it again. Because it would have been a fluke of the season if that one gone in, but he hasn't. In the end, back to Murphy goes. And with Chom playing for the blue, Murphy may still go for this red to be taken. But, I mean, once again, is it worth taking this red on? It is, if you make it. And that's the mentality that Shaun Murphy's had. Like, come on, give us one more until the interval. And at least, you know, make it an improvement on that Williams final. Because, as I say, we've seen those Murphy winning one in those 7 frames. As, well, basically, it's the form that he comes up into frame 12. Now, just trying to take this blue into the right middle. And getting himself lined up for one of the lower reds here. He should still be taking the one closest to the black here, if possible. Because, well, it's not possible. Okay, that's change of plans. Because then he has to try and force his way onto the red with a lot of power. Needs the cue ball to bounce away and play the shot brilliantly there, to be fair. I mean, that's a shot of the session there from Murphy. Especially from the positional play. Just basically cannoning that red away from the black and achieving the perfect outcome. Let's see how far away this is going to last. Streaming the Hong Kong top. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to have me not streaming the tournament, which Ronnie's going to feature in. Whether it's going to be just for one match or not remains to be seen. But, you know, when the last time that he's played Joe O'Connor in the first round, he has gone on to be defeated in the decider of the final against Neil Robertson. So I'm looking forward to that being the case. Not that he's going to be defeated in the final, in the decider, but I'll take that. I mean, I certainly will before the tournament starts. If someone told me that he's going to reach the final and then be smacked up 10-0, I wouldn't believe in it, but I'd still take it. Looking forward to seeing the most of Ronnie there, especially as he tries to build that form ahead of the World Championship. And, you know, it's not just going to be his show. In fact, it's probably going to be over with the show of Ronnie O'Sullivan by round 2 or round 3, especially with the draw that he's got. But you're going to see the likes of Judd, Karen Wilson, Shaun Murphy, Neil Robertson, all lighting up the arena. And by the way, I still want to see, I feel like I'm due a performance from Robertson, because as much as he's been consistently in the semi-finals, he's still yet to make a good final appearance ever since that Saudi Masters triumph. And, well, Murphy for now, just trying to get some of this confidence back, playing some really nice shots, although, I mean, he needs a red to try and find, because the pink is going to compromise him on the shots into the left middle, and unless he's got one into the left corner too. Okay, the pink is going to go on the lower part of the bunch, which is going to play to the hands of Shaun Murphy here. Yes, Ronnie Legend. Well, let's see if he's going to last for long, but I just hope that I'm going to see a bit of an improvement in his game, maybe stringing those centuries back-to-backs and, you know, enjoying the queue, enjoying the crowds, enjoying the venue, enjoying the food and the hospitality, which are going to be the things that he enjoys most in China for the past references that we've got. But then, listen, let's not turn this one into a Ronnie show just yet. Still have got a match on our hands, although be it only just, especially if the black is going to stay out, and he will. So, yeah, you may as well turn back to talking about Ronnie, because I just thought maybe, you know, if Murphy's able to get into the intermission with a nice break of 100 points, well, that's not going to be happening right now. The previous shot was the one that done him dirty, getting that cue ball too close on the side cushion, and a difficult red and a difficult black to be taken into the corner. And in the end, he's going to play a horrible joke with him, because the black is going to stay over the pocket, and with a lot of those reds being taken away from the table already, it is going to be not going to say a stroll in the park there for Chump, and he seems to be close to not seeing the... Oh, I mean, he seems to be really close to not seeing this black. I mean, what happened there from Judd? I know he had the black in the pocket, but he has to play a better shot than that. Well, I mean, A3, do you try... The problem is the black is way too far for you to try and do it off the cushion. Let's see if he's going to be able to swerve around it. He is. That's the way to recover. And he should have a shot into the left middle as well. And a beautiful serve there by Chump. Getting around the paint. Not easy, especially bridging over another red. And he may have to... A red to go with it into the yellow pocket as well. This is going to rub the salt in the wounds there for Murphy. And he will. Chump is on fire. Your defense is terrified. I mean, Shaun Murphy must just be feeling that. If he's played his best snooker, I'll tell you that might be one of the only things. That wasn't quite the case in the match against Williams, because he still had some of those flaws. I have to say, if Murphy played his best snooker, I still feel like it might have been second best, because this form of Chump is something that I'm not even sure Ronnie of 2022 will be able to stop. This is really dangerous what we're seeing, and is this... maybe a little trailer of things to come in the World Championship. Only managed to do it in 2019 at the back of a prime Judd Chump form. Incredible to be feeling that was 7 years ago. It feels like yesterday. And in the end, he may be able to run it back come the middle of April and the main draw of Sheffield to appear. But in the meantime, he's got the shot to be playing along the side cushion of the bulk. Of the black, I should say. So 6 points behind. 3 reds available. 2 of them bunched up together, but that's not going to be for long. Or maybe for a couple more shots. Yeah, basically he's got a shot into the right middle or into the right corner. Similar grades, but yeah, he seems to have made this one wrong. Did he get lucky though? And yeah, he basically made the same mistake as we've seen in the opening session, where he played the cue ball way too close to the red and took away too much power of it. And I'll be surprised if he's not able to get through to this black, because it's going to be a really sloppy mistake. And also, I just think there is going to be enough of a gap for the cue ball to get past this red. Hopefully, and used to good to only win well. Chital Chump. Let's see if that will be the case. Essentially, he's able to keep himself underway here for the break. So for now, 4 reds, 4 blacks. Still 75 points at the table. Manages to cannon 1 more red away. And he'll need pretty much all of them. By the time that he's able to get 4 out of the remaining 5, he may as well have the last one as well. He's got the 3 points advantage. And, well, technically speaking, it may be... No, I don't think he will be enough there. So he will still need 4 more of those reds of the remaining 5. And as I say, by that point, he's very likely to have the last one very much available to him as well. So for now, a break of 40 points here for Judd, as he is able to try and take this red into the right corner. Plays it with a bit of backspin to make sure he's not going to have the cue ball to bounce too far away onto the top part of the table. So now 11 points is going to be his advantage. Having a look at the blue, clearly doesn't look like he's going to be too happy with this one. And the reason for that probably is because he's got a 4-ball plant of, well, looking exactly into the black ball spot. Basically down the spine of 3 reds and the pink. And he needs to try and do something with those reds, because he still needs more points than what he's got, plus the red and the collar available to him, as he takes it into the left corner pretty nicely. Now, it needs a big angle, and it needs it to be bigger than that, to be fair. 17 points. And, I mean, the trademark 2-cushion escape off the left side and off the black ball cushion. Let's see if he's going to get the right area. And I don't think he has hit the right area, but it ain't going to matter, because it's still going to be perfectly lined up for this red. And I think he's just looking to see if he's going to have access to the other two, because remember, as I say, he's going to need one more of those two that are still going to be bunched up together. So 51 points remaining, 22 is the advantage, so that's going to take him to something like 28. So he needs, he needs 2 more reds with 2 more expensive colours, and he's going to be fine for this frame to be his for the taking as well. Remember, there'll be an intermission of 15 minutes, and you never know, it may only be a matter of time until history is repeated. Murphy comes into this match with brilliant form, the man to beat, and then you've got the world champion very much destroying him come the Sunday afternoon and night. Although it's not quite there. You could see him doing a little hop there as if to say, well, it's not really what I wanted to see. And yeah, might have to settle for a couple of more safety shots to be played. It's not ideal, but even worse if he's going to have to make a mistake here. So, yeah, 29. He needs a red and a pink here for him to be 36 points clear and 35 at the table. But this red, he basically has the cue ball just about higher up than the red, which makes it incredibly difficult to try and pot into the left corner. But also, it's not like it's going to be easier to pot into the left middle anyway. So, it's decision time. I feel like I know that Trump wants to desperately try and stay on this break, but also he realises that this position is very much there for the taking if Murphy comes back to the table, because there's not too many shots for him to make a mistake on. You know, there's going to be about 10 of them for a total clearance. 2 reds, 2 colours, and a 6-colour clearance, and that's all of a sudden it's 8-4 instead of 8-3, 9-3 I should say. And yeah, I think Judd once again just making sure. I think he's had the experience of losing 3 finals on the bounce is enough there. And every single time he's not sure, he's just going to be playing a safety shot here. The cue ball to bounce away off 2 side cushions and lined up for the bulk cushion there. And he's played a brilliant shot there, I have to say, because I thought he was all about safety. In the end, he was all about snooker. Because there might be the edge of this red that Murphy can see, but with the face that he's looking at this trajectory, certainly not going to be too happy with the way he's come back to the table. He's going to happen here. And, well, I'll tell you what, if he misses the edge of this red, or he doesn't take it as well as he should, he could put this red very much available there to Trump, and he will, but slightly too close for it to be a comfortable pot. But I think Trump will take this one on, because it's an improvement on what he's had previously. And we've seen Murphy take this one for the century before. And right now, can we see Judd to be taking this one for a 9-3 lead? And surely, 1.5 hands on the title. He's taken it, but he's missed it. And where's the red going to bounce away? Is he going to be over the pocket? No, he won't. It's going to be right underneath the cue ball. And, well, it's not really going to please Shaun Murphy. If anything's going to please him by the end of this match. But, yeah, really lucky there from Trump. Because as he had the red bounce away from the right corner, he went onto the left side cushion, then he went onto the right side cushion, and still somehow ended up perfectly underneath the black, right next to the cue ball as well. So Murphy is forced to go for a safety shot, which would not have been the plan, as he was making his way back to the table, but at least he's played a good one. Leaves Trump with, he needs to take a very thin edge of that red, trying to take it closer to the black. And once again, just having a look to see if he's going to have the opportunity to play it in the way that he wants to. With it clearly being the approach of getting that red to bounce away from the black but cushion ever so slightly. And then just join the company of the other red and the black as well. That's what happens. Has the second red to bounce away slightly more than he would have wanted though. And well, once again, it's another opportunity here for Shaun Murphy to try and make this long shot last. Whether he's going to attempt it or not remains to be seen. And, well, he needs to be, really, because he's 29 points down. He's got nothing to lose. He's had nothing to lose since the end of the previous frame. And it's not like it's getting any better for him in terms of his playing style. Making way too many errors. And Remember, he was the one that actually got the first chance in the frame, made a break of 30 points, and was unable to take the black into the right corner as well. And right now just trying to cue this red into the right corner, it would seem, because he's taken way too much time for it to be a safety shot. And yeah, last second I actually thought he's taking this one way too thin on the edge, so clearly just thinking about that long shot, but not going for it in the end. We'll see. What time is Ronnie O'Sullivan playing? Is he after this match? He is, but you'll have to wait a bit of time for that. He's going to be playing 72 hours after this match. So you can stay here if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it, because he needs to travel to Hong Kong first. I'm not sure if he's done, because I know that Wilson was on his way yesterday. And of course, with that flight not being a quick one from Germany to Hong Kong, he was taking the last step, which would have been Doha in India. And sorry, Doha is not going to be in India. It's going to be in Qatar, as far as I'm aware. That was quite embarrassing. All the way over to Hong Kong itself. So, yeah, he's going to be trying to get this red into the green pocket, or somewhat close to it, I would say. I don't actually think that he was going to go for a long shot there. There was no angle for the cue ball to be played in a way that he would stay on the colours and yet put this red safe. So trying once again to get Chomp, not be snookered that it gives him points, but just try and put him into an awkward spot there for the safety. But I think the fact that he's shown him a slight edge of the red will do him just about fine, as he forces the cue ball onto the side cushion. Yeah, Chomp could have played this shot better by far, certainly. But I think he may have actually got away with this one too, because normally he could have taken the red further away from the pocket into the right corner, but he's going to have the other red in the way of that as well. So yeah, I just feel like those little things are all going in the way of Judd Trump and against Shaun Murphy, which is only going to be a natural thing, because Judd Trump has spent way more table time here than Murphy. So it's natural that they're going to look like he's getting the favour of the Lady Luck. But Murphy, of course, doesn't want to give up just yet. And yeah, the last defeat to him at the World Championship would have been painful, but this is going to be just about as bad. Ooh, I mean, this is going to be the shot that, well, it's probably too late for this one to be called the one that will change the rhythm of the entire match, but this certainly has smelled a bit of desperation, but this was brilliance. I mean, this is a plant that you dream about when you play snooker at your local club, but you just never realise how difficult it is to make until you miss around 10 of those on the bounce. So much of a distance that basically was half of the width of the table there in between those two reds, and yet Murphy still went for it, and he's managed to hit the brown with it as well. Now just needs a bit of luck on the cue ball, and he's got it to an extent. So, well, brilliant there from Murphy. Absolutely brilliant plan that he's taken. So 24 points. Once again, look at this. So much distance in between the cue ball and the red, but have a look at how much there is to cover in between the first red and the second one. And whatever you do, please don't miss this red. And he hasn't. I just want to make sure, just this frame, I mean, he deserves to win it by taking that red all alone. And it's probably going to come down to that transition shot from the cue ball and from the black all the way to the yellow, using the side cushion in the progress. Bounce. And, well, I don't think that's going to be looking too good. Just needs it to run even more for the middle shot to be taken on, because that actually might be working out okay. And just about fine. Not perfect, far from ideal. But he's got the right angle to try and drop the cue ball in behind for the green, which puts an element of safety to it. He's overcut it. He's overcut it. And, yeah, it is going to be Judd back to the table. Unfortunately, the fairy tale of the frame is not over yet. GG's frame, well, that was premature. Because the position was there for Murphy, but he wasn't able to pull all the strings together. And he's still going to be 16 points behind. Not that it matters. I mean, it's whoever gets the position wins. But, yeah. Once again, unable to make that brilliant red to work for him to the extent that he was going to be taking this one into 8-4. And an intermission break of 15 minutes time. I know Murphy, yeah, it was one of those reds which is dangerous, but you should still expect him to make it into the pocket, and he overcut it with basically, it didn't even wobble in the jaws, he just bounced away from the back one, and yeah, fortunately for him, it was always going to be dropping the cue ball for the ball cushion, which minimised the chances of him leaving that yellow on for Chomp. As he catches the blue with the cue ball here, and despite him not allowing this to give a chance away to Chomp, he may be snookered. 30 seconds later, he's just slightly too straight there with Chomp, because what you normally want to do is to basically change the position of the cue ball from now onto the yellow pocket and hit it straight in the face with a bit of stun, and landed in behind the black, and yeah, Chomp probably just had no other option than to try and play it into the black. And with a bit of a favour of the kiss, I mean, I say a bit of the favour, he got a lot of that favour on the blue. Murphy's going to be fuming, no mistake about it, but I'm not going to say that I would not have been either. Unlucky there with Murphy just being in behind the brown and the pink. Straight down that spine yet again. The good news is the yellow is close to the cushion. The bad news is he's going to play this with power, but he's played it absolutely perfectly. I mean, that's the way to exit that snooker. Brilliant escape there from Shaun Murphy. And look at that yellow placement as well. Perfectly on the ball cushion with the cue ball being left onto the black ball cushion exquisitely there. So the frame is not over just yet. Of course, both Chomp and Murphy need the position on the green, which is going to matter because the green is not really in the most favourable positions. By the way, what happened there on the shot from Chomp? It feels like he hit it with 70% of power instead of required 100 there to get him the outcome that he wanted. This is going to be a long shot available here to Murphy. And he's had 2 chances before. Is he going to be third time lucky? Ooh, brilliant long shot. Just needs to keep running there with the cue ball. He will. But Murphy's the one that needs all 4 of the colours. Doesn't want to be straight on the green. And I think he may just be straight on the green. Crowd clapping, which certainly deservedly so for the brilliant long shot that he's taken, but just needs a slight angle to try and drop this brown for one of the middle pockets. Oh, he's tried to make it the long way around. I'm not sure that was the right idea, but he got slightly fortunate there. I think he was trying to get the cue ball past the 2 side cushions and behind the brown, because he wasn't playable into the yellow pocket. It is now, after making slightly closer to the pocket, past the blue. And he can barely keep up with everything that's been going on. So, checking the scoreline, he needs the black as well. I can do the maths for you, Shaun. So, blue, the pink, and then the black for an 8-4 of a deficit, which will keep this match alive for at least 2 more frames. But that's not the way that you want to be on this pink. In fact, that's the worst possible way that you want to be on this pink. Dead straight. And basically slightly underneath the blue ball spot, but way too close to the pink for this one to be cuttable, especially with him trying to drop the cue ball in behind for the black. I mean, I don't know if you go for it. I know he's getting desperate, but I still don't know if you go for it. You probably will, but it's such a nasty shot. So little distance in between the cue ball and the pink, which, could justify the angle. You've got so much ground, and in terms of the position to try and cover up, but he'll go for it, and he'll miss it. Where's the cue ball gone? The cue ball's gone in the pocket, and that's going to be frame over most definitely in a couple of moments' time. Wow, I mean, once again, he's done all the hard work there, Murphy, and yet he hasn't really helped him, because it is going to be Judd Chomp to return back to the table. 6 points given away there to him. And he only needs a pink to be rolled, which is basically over the pocket. And it is going to be 9-3 of an advantage. Kevin can't believe it, neither can I. But in the end, Judd Chomp will certainly believe what he's seen there. It is going to be a complete deja vu, it would seem. And after Mark Williams managed to defeat Shaun Murphy 10 frames to 3 in the Shaun Grand Prix, well, Judd Chomp is only 1 frame away from ending that 14-round drought. And it is going to be Judd Chomp 9, Shaun Murphy 3. Out of the 15-minute intermission, and it may be the longest that Shaun Murphy still has his hopes of claiming this title, because come 15 minutes after that, there's no guarantee that he's still going to be in the equation for this match. But for the time being, thank you very much, and we'll see you around in 15 minutes time for Trump to try to close this one off, and in favour of the fourth German Masters title to be very much his for the taking once again.
changes around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, no,
what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Come on, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Hello everybody, and for one last time today, we are back here after the intermission, and let's see if it's going to be for one last frame here, as that's all that Judd needs right now, and I think for the comeback that Shaun Murphy needs, he needs to win 7 frames on the bounce. Well, I think he'll do pretty well to win 2 from this point, because it has been a complete and utter domination here from Chomp overall in both of these sessions, but especially in the second one, with Shaun Murphy yet to get going there. And his best chance probably came in the opening frame there, but he was super close to making it a 5-4 of a deficit. And a lot of things have changed ever since, but he's now going to be knocking on the door at the 9-4 of a scoreline, which is still going to be far from ideal. And yeah, trying to get those reds into the right part of the table. You know, he's played some incredible shots before, but right now, he just needs to have a supreme game of his to try and take this match into slightly more of a respective scoreline. And, well, Judd Trump has been the world number 1 for so much time, but also he has got these 14 months exactly since his last title that he won. Although he's just played a horrible shot there. Don't know where that came from. And it is going to be a chance here given away to Murphy. So, completely misjudged the contact that he had on the red. And in the end, he's going to have this red to be left out and onto the left middle. So, yeah, I think he was so far away from cutting this red into the corner pocket, so that actually makes sense. And this red is going to be taken there by Murphy. That still gets himself in with a chance here to try and produce a couple of more of those great frames for the crowd that have massively enjoyed the things they would have seen here at the Tempodrome in Berlin. And slightly underwhelming final so far. But, well, maybe one last chance for Shaun Murphy to try and stay in this one for a couple more of those frames. But there has been a recurring thing where he comes to the table first with a real chance to make it a significant break. And in the end, just comes up short every single time so far. In each of those frames in the second session, he had a chance in every single one of them. And you could argue there was a point in in every single one of those frames where he was the favourite to win that frame. What happened in this? Well, what happened was basically Judd came onto the arena and completely destroyed Shaun Murphy here so far. And the Magician now needs 7 frames on the bounce for him to be the winner of the match. So he's got 14 points to go with it. Once again, slightly awkward on the red that he has to take into the right corner. Maybe trying to use that intermission break of 15 minutes. Maybe just allowing himself to practice for a bit. And well, maybe have any improvement on his game. But clearly not enough for him to maintain the positional play. And it's just 14 points scored. And he's forced to, well, either take a risky shot into the right corner, which he was reluctant to do. And in the end was just playing a shot of a safety play. Getting that cue ball to the top part of the table. And giving the turn back to Judd here. So let's see if Trump has got one more of those brilliant long shots to try and find before he is going to be called the winner of the German Masters this season. That's happened 3 times to him before in his brilliant career. Hasn't happened in any of those times to Shaun Murphy. You know, he's not new to the final here at the German Masters, but it looked like he was going to be able to take it one step further away, especially. And he was closest to it, where he was 5-3 and 2 frames of each. But once again, it's a cue ball, which is going to make his way onto the green pocket. And one of the first foul shots there from Murphy. 4 points given away to Chomp. And more importantly, a ball in hand, and the red that he pushed onto the open part of the table, with Judd having full control of where he wants to place the cue ball. May well try to take this one into the right corner. Judd will be happy to get this tournament. Yeah, I mean, that's true. And thank you very much there, Kevin, for being a member for 1 month. And yeah, you can have a look at the shot that he's playing there, Chomp, because, you know, he felt like it was a bit of a missed opportunity with the way that he was looking at that red, taken into the right corner. In the end, he got the cue ball to be behind the green. So it just forces the white to, well, basically not have a direct access to any one of those reds. Onto the right part of the table, may be able to get through past the blue. Onto the left corner of it, though. Still, it's not going to give him a lot of freedom in that regard, because he's going to be pushing the cue ball closer to the left corner pocket anyway, which is not going to be part of his plans. And, well, he's taking the red with him, with the cue ball, to basically be taking it along the black ball cushion. Let's see the options that Judd has got to get himself a couple of points on the board. Is going to be to try and take the red into the left middle or into the left corner. He's gone for the one into the middle. He had more of the pocket to aim at. And in the end, once again, it's a good introduction shot for Judd down there. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay on the brown. And to be taking it into the pocket might help. But just trying to make his way through one last little quest that he's got ahead of himself, which is not going to be easy. He's got the black compromised and available into the left corner. And he's going to have a decent opportunity to maybe free up a couple of those reds away from the black and basically make it possible into both of the corner pockets. So, yeah, that's probably going to be the point for him to be aware about. And he's about to go 1 point clear. And once again, the first chance in the frame goes to Shaun Murphy, but he's only able to get 14 points out of it. And now the response from the big guy comes out. So the world number 1 about to get even more of those ranking points to it, because of course he didn't make the final 2 years ago. I just realised, I think he did. I think he was the one to win in 24 because Wilson won in 25. He was the one to win in 24. Then Carter won in 23 and Shoutington won in 22. Yes, so he is going to just retain his ranking points, which still helps, you know, because he's been losing a couple of those with all the tournaments that he's won in the 23-24 season being wiped away as he makes his way through those tournaments. Just taking the black and the red combinations, as I say. The first thing first was to try and get rid of the red, which was blocking the path of the black, to be taking it into the right corner. That's now in place. And I think he's going to have a bit too much of the angle, really, but still enough of it to force the cue ball into those reds, cannon them away from each other, and just needs to make sure he's going to be lined up on something. And easier said than done. And I'm actually not sure that he's lined up on something. Yeah, he should be alright, to be fair. I thought the red was going to be blocking one another. I think the one closer to the cue ball should get past the other red. And so he does. Of course, Trump having to play for the blue. He's not going to mess around with him too much. 18 points is going to be the advantage here for Trump. But more importantly, he probably have to start saying that it's been an incredible campaign for Shaun Murphy. You know, he had Mark Allen. I probably said this numerous occasions, but he had such a tough job for him to be coming up against so many top-seeded players. All of them have managed to win a title this season. Mark Allen won the English Open. You know, Karen Wilson comes away as a newly crowned Masters champion. And, of course, if Judd Trump is to end this drought, and Neil Robertson was the Saudi Arabia Masters champion, but if Judd Trump is to land this crown title, then we will only have, well, I think it is 4 players that would not have won a title in 2025-26 season from the top 10. And I guess before the season started, you would not have guessed which ones that have been. And that's going to be Karen Wilson, Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins, and Zhao Xington. Trump getting himself in the elite club of the likes of Mark Williams, Mark Selby, Mark Allen, and Neil Robertson. To the ones, and Shaun Murphy himself, sorry, forgot about the Magician, world number 7 right now. Still feels quite weird that he was dropping out of the world 16 at the start of the season, and yet here he finds himself sitting comfortably in the 7th place and still extending some of the ranking points for himself. But for Judd Trump, this has been a roller coaster of a season. Really poor start to it. You know, didn't really get too far in the Shanghai Masters for the Invitational. Didn't do anywhere near as much in the Saudi Arabia, getting knocked out in the first round against Oliver Lyons. And then had a bad campaign at Wuhan Open as well, losing out to Matthew Stevens. Elias Lesser defeat in the last 16 of the English Open. British Open defeat to Shaun Murphy. And all of a sudden, you know, he finds himself in the position a couple of shots away, although he doesn't seem to be happy with the way he needs to play the next shot. So taking the blue into the left middle and probably having to settle for a red to be taken along the side cushion on the right hand side of this table right now. Just needs to try and roll this one in. And, brilliant shot there, nicely taken. I actually thought this may be the last chance for Murphy to come back to the table. But with it being now 44 points as the advantage, only needs a red and a colour combination. And he will have enough points for, well, in between himself and his opponent, because he's got 44 right now. The black will take it 51, and the next red will get it to 52, with only 51 being left out at the table. Although it doesn't seem like he's got a red available to him, so unless he goes for a shot into the yellow pocket or the left middle, the cue ball is going to be quite far away from those reds. So as much as Trump wants to try and get this frame over and done with, I mean, I'm not sure that Murphy's going to have a different mentality at this stage. You know, he's 51 points down. You know, 6 frames down. I know there's an element of never giving up, but there's also an element of, you know, just trying to play your own game. And I don't think if Murphy is going to know that he's going to take him 30 minutes of playing time of a safety to try and get back in this frame. Not sure that he'll take it, but he may not need this dilemma, or he may be able to get himself into a comeback position that Judd Trump had previously. You know, they already counted this red, I'm pretty sure, that the one that he potted. And you can see that Trump having a look at the scoreboard as if to say, well, you did that prematurely. And, well, you can see Trump is not quite over the line. He's got 61 points of a break that he's made, and he's got 59 points. Very much at the table here, Murphy. So 3 reds, bunched up closely to the pink. And after everything that has been done in this final already, can it be, for one last time, that Shaun Murphy's actually able to pull an unreverse card and everything that's been going on, and for once actually be the one that steals a frame away from Judd in frame number 13 here. He's played a really good shot there, and well, that's I wouldn't start the celebrations just yet, because as I say, I mean, if you've seen the position that Murphy has got ahead of himself, once again he's very much the favourite to win the frame here, and it's not quite over when it's over, so, you know, he's got around 10 shots in between himself and just trying to stay for one more frame there. 21 points, he's about to make it 28 with the black. So 37 is the difference, 43 at the table. He doesn't need to be taking all of these reds with the black, so it's all about making this total clearance work for himself. You know, he's got the yellow available to be taken into the green pocket and just try and play the shot with the backspin. Once again, makes his way past this red, so 29 points. Still getting ever closer to that, well, at least one of those steals. Trump was one shot away from making this his final to be taken. And now, well, Murphy just needs to be close to the blue, but doesn't want it to be too close enough. No, he's fine. He's fine here. He's got enough distance to control the cue ball for the left part of the table to be playing for the yellow. So he's now 23 points behind, 27 on the table. So he's fine in terms of points. And he's basically about taking the yellow into the green pocket. And then you've got 5 colours all on their spots there. So may have at least one more frame for him to try and play here at this wonderful arena. And that's certainly going to be on the WSD channel for the drama. And, well, maybe actually deservedly so. There's not been a lot of drama, but there was a mistake, and it seems to have been followed up with a punishment here from Murphy. And of course, if he is to somehow win 6 more on the bounce after this one, it will be the story of, well, certainly of the decade for him to be the comeback. Last breath still alive, and certainly alive in this frame. He's got 2 more colours for him to be making his way onto the frame for one more time. He's got the pink in, so the break of 55 points, his first 50-plus break, it would seem, ever since that break of 60 points, and he's still alive, and you can see he's looking at the crowd, and yeah, he's certainly just saying that, you thought I was out, and I'm still trying to battle away and give it my best shot. Lovely to see Murphy just not losing his sense of humour just there, even though he probably knows he's still going to have a mounting of a task if he's to win 6 more frames there. You know, 5 frames is going to be good enough for this one to be going the distance. And yeah, it's going to be really fun for us to be watching the next frame here, because, you know, Chomp was super close. And maybe this is going to do a bit of damage to his confidence, which I still think is going to be going through the roof. And at least Murphy, as I say, you can look at it in a funny way, that he's managed to improve on his performance against Mark Williams at the Xi'an Grand Prix. By the way, thank you for everyone tuning in. Feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to have the World Grand Prix in Hong Kong to follow up next week, which is going to be, basically tomorrow is going to be the break, and then Tuesday and Wednesday morning we're going to be down for the afternoon session. So yeah, just all about the referee getting the Reds back and ready for frame number 15. So you know, out of 10 being the minimum number of frames that we could have seen, and 19 being the maximum, we're not too far away from the middle point. In fact, we're dead on the middle point there. Guaranteed to witness 15 frames here, but Murphy just needs to try and fight back to 9-5. And then, you know, 9-6, it's going to be pressure back on Trump at that point, because, you know, after the intermission, there was no odds at all on any of the markets for Shaun Murphy to be winning this one. Now, it's back onto 1.004 for Chomp and 41.1 for Shaun Murphy here. Thank you for covering the best. Yeah, I mean, you can't really be the worst. By the way, 7 breaks of 50 plus in the 13 frames for Trump. I know it probably shouldn't come across as a surprise, but still incredible. And somehow, you know, Murphy, for the 4 frames that he's won, he's actually made 2 century breaks, to only one of those made by Judd himself. So let's have a look how we're looking with the total centuries count in the match out there, in the season, I should say. So if you go on the rankings and centuries count, yeah, Mark Selby still leading, 51 there, Robertson 50, 48 for Shaun Murphy, 44 for Judd. So we've got the world number 3 and the world number 4 when it comes to making the most centuries this season. And with only Selby and Robertson being, well, halfway there when it comes to that 100,000 worth of bonuses in prize money that you could get. I'm pretty sure that's still relevant. I mean, I've heard no news that they're going to take it away. Although they might have to do that with the standard of the play going up through the roof and so many players looking to try and maybe get close to that record next season. And has there been any tons in the final? What do you mean? This one, there has been 3. So 2 from Murphy and 1 from Judd, if that's what you mean. And certainly has been a lot in the previous matches for this for the finals this season. But I'm not going to be able to give you the exact numbers. Yeah, as I say, really interesting to see the response that Judd is going to come away with. Because he was winning this match. He was one shot away, I should say, from this morning. Yeah. So there was a century break by Trump in one of the opening frames. I'm not sure if it was the first one. Sorry, yeah, it was by Trump. That was his only century break, and then Murphy responded with, I think at the first mini session, so the first 4 frames, we're basically seeing something like 2 or 3 of them. And, I mean, that's a slice of luck there. Let's see the extent of it, though, because the red, that might be the only one that Judd can see, can still be enough for him to try and go for an attacking approach, if the black is going to be potable into the left corner. And, nope, he's not going to be able to pot this one. Unless he does it miraculously with a fluke. It's all about trying to get the edge of this red and get the cue ball to the top part of the table. So, yeah, he obviously doesn't feel like he wants to try and risk it with the cue ball's point of view. But he's playing this one with too much power for that. And clearly feels like there's nothing to give away. But still, should have been slightly cautious. And you can see this is going to be on all TV if he doesn't win this final. The red, that was so close from the yellow pocket, but didn't quite drop in. And that's the reason why Shaun Murphy is still playing here. And he's not giving the loser speech. I've seen one of those before in This Morning in Australia. Let's see on which one of the Englishmen is going to be giving one here in Germany as well. So Trump back to the table here, and once again having, well, pretty much all of these reds available to him to try and play and do something with. Maybe forcing a bit of a swerve here, and, well, in the end, somehow manages to find a way off the cue ball to pass all of these reds. Let's see if Murphy's going to go for a return of this shot. Or is he going to try and make something from the long shot here? Well, Trump doesn't seem like he's going to be in a hurry back to his chair. So maybe just suggesting that he's going to have to try and take this one back. So the green is going to be respotted. And you can see that Marcel Edgar there just putting the green back on his spot. And now the same has to be done with the cue ball. And Trump about to execute attempt number 2. I think he still has to... No, I think he can see too much of this red. And I think the yellow was blocking a lot more of it, so yeah, that looks just about fine. And Trump having a look at this one. So he seems to be happy with it. I'm not sure though, as I say, I mean, you're going to hit this one pretty much as always you can. So slightly further away it would seem. So yeah, just thinking about it. Once again, minor adjustment needed, but So maybe just asking to put it back where it was. So Trump clearly having his adjustment not working out in the right way. And in the end, Shaun obviously is not going to intervene at all. And Trump is happy with this one. So once again, with a little bit of a swerve. And this one has worked out a lot better, although catching the blue wasn't part of the script. And that's not going to be good news to either one of the players, really, because the blue was a genuine colour for one of them to be trying to build their breakthrough. In the end, it's going to be a long shot given away here to Murphy, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be taking this one rather cautiously. And, I say cautiously, nearly pushed the red over the left middle. And he's still done it, but it's only accessible from the lower part of the table here. So Trump has got another long shot available to him into the left or the right corner. The one into the left corner, though, it may be slightly safety friendly, though, because you can guide the cue ball onto the black ball cushion off the right side and all the way diagonally across the table back on for the yellow pocket. And that may be the way forward for him, especially with, as much as Trump is going to be careful at the start of this frame, he still needs to realise he doesn't need to get that frame too close to his heart, and he still can afford to be playing attacking snooker, which, as I say, exactly what he's done, and just forcing that cue ball to go super close to the yellow pocket, played that wonderful safety shot, which could have resulted in an opportunity to play the brown, and he managed to get that red into the left corner, which of course he hasn't. So, right now, from Murphy's point of view, I mean, he doesn't really have the luxury that Trump had, because you've got basically a bit of a minefield of those reds occupying the black ball cushion. There's around 6 of them perfectly placed, which makes the path of the cue ball along the left part of that table very much in danger from the axis point of view. And that way you have to make all of your safety shots basically from the right part of the table. Commentary not very good, and yet you still wear. Funny how life works, isn't it? And yeah, you can try and take this one into the yellow pocket, but I think probably we'll have to just try and play it into the side cushion instead. And I'm not sure if that was a genuine attempt to try and hit that one into the yellow pocket. And in the end, has the red to bounce away closer to the black. Doesn't want it to be in the way of the black, though. May just about be alright. So, as I say, I mean, it's quite funny that we've got 6 reds to be working on to the black ball cushion, then one more quite close to the black. And, yeah, a couple more of those that are going to be occupying the top part of the table. So, let's have a look here from Murphy's point of view. What he's going to be looking at. So, not sure here because, I mean, as I say, the reason why it's becoming a bit of a problem here for Murphy is that he only has 2 reds that he can work with on the left part of the table, but as I mentioned previously, you've got those 6 reds very much surrounded by and occupying the left-hand side of the black ball cushion. So he may actually have this red taken into the left corner as his best opportunity to stay in this frame. And, ooh, I mean, that was close. Wasn't quite close enough, though. And it is going to be another chance away to Judd. And you can try and get those reds into the left corner. Well, this red into the left corner doesn't have to worry about, the pace of the cue ball too much. Although, of course, if you could slow it down before it hit the ball colours, that would help. But that certainly wasn't the case. Let's see the line of the cue ball. That's not going to be good at all. It's just going to be 1 point there for him, and back to safety play, it would seem. And another thing, of course, Trump now needs to find a safety shot, because even though he's got the access to the black, he's got so many dangerous reds, which he could leave there for Murphy. Murphy is out of sorts. Well, he is, but he was out of sorts in the previous frame, yet he still managed to win it. And, if he manages to find a couple more of frames like that, could be a real threat for, putting a bit of this pressure back onto Trump's shoulders. For now, it's Trump that makes a mistake. Of course, it wasn't an easy shot that he was played anyway. And having the cue ball to be sent to the green pocket. Where's the magic in the magician? Well, it probably is all gone. Because if you repeat the same trick of getting the rabbit out of the hat, it may become boring at some point. And, well, Judd clearly figured out the game plan for him, and he's managed to execute it to perfection. Of course, has tasted a bit of his own medicine there in the previous frame, of having that comeback from Murphy's point of view. But in the previous 13 frames, of course, he was able to win numerous ones where you had 50 or 60 points advantage to go the way of Shaun Murphy, as he hits the green from the second time of asking, so only 4 of those 12 points will be given away to Murphy. And we'll still have got 14 of those reds to try and make our way through. So if the cue ball is going to be sent all the way to the left corner, I mean, this is a nice line. Just try to get the cue ball maybe behind the green, which would have been the snooker of the match by far. In the end, that hasn't worked out. And it's going to be back to Judd to try and do it all again. And Magician took wrong advice for him. Yes, that's good points. If you've been watching the interview that he's had after his win over Neil Robertson yesterday, he was asking why. He was basically asked by the host why, you know, he had such a bad campaign at the Masters, and yet he comes away here at the German Masters and he's able to, you know, whitewash and defeat some of his opponents, which are actually higher than him in the ranking system. And he said that, you know, Peter Ebdon gave him an advice, and of course he was saying that with a humorous point of view anyway, and saying that if it was that easy, you know, you would have figured it out by this time. For now, just trying to give the turn back to Chom here. Could have done with getting the cue ball slightly further away up the table, but not to be this time. So potentially leaving a red away to Chom to be taken with the diagonal line into the corner. This line looks good, and he had so much of the pocket to aim at. Brilliant shot there by Chomp, and is he going to be able to try and stay on the green? I mean, he will be, but I think at this stage, you may be better off taking the brown and trying to do something with those reds in the lower part of the table. But as I say, still going to be far from ideal in terms of his attempt of re-establishing the order and getting himself back down the table. Of course, despite him being the only player that has landed red so far, he's the one trailing by 6 points as it stands. And yeah, didn't really see any point in trying to pot the brown with getting the cue ball down the table, because obviously the angle wasn't there and the risk of missing the brown was outweighing the risk of actually landing on those reds. So just takes the point, gives the turn back to Shaun Murphy. And well, it's Murphy that plays a really good shot, to be fair, because he had 1 or 2 reds to try and deal with. And in the end, he only takes 1 of them away from the pack. Didn't disturb any more of those. And Trump is having a look at the little plants that he potentially spotted. Of course, there's no clear way for him to get through to it, but he seems to have his eyes on that plant. And that's going to be a very interesting shot for us to develop. Let's keep an eye on this one now. Could be the one that shapes up the frame. And it's a brilliant long shot instead. I mean, once again, it's a frame of long shots from Chomp. And it's the way of running himself out of position on the colours up to this point. This time he's going to have a great chance of taking the brown into the yellow pocket and getting himself within a point away of Shaun Murphy. And still having a really good chance of getting the cue ball back down the table here. And you never know, may have a couple of those reds available to himself, as he still has a little look to see if maybe the chance of trying to land the brown is going to be there. Needs to make sure he misses the left middle pocket, and he has. So all about taking the next red, which I still think he actually could have done a bit of a better job at. You know, unless he's got that plant, which he was looking at previously, he's going to be a bit of a difficult cut for him into the right corner. Once away, making his way onto the top part of the tape. And he does have the plant, but he clearly wanted to try and make a bit of a mess on the table. And, well, it doesn't seem like it's actually worked out at all. It's very unlucky with the way he didn't land on any of those colours. And despite him making all of these reds with a couple of colours, it's only going to be for an 8 points each. And the cue ball to be in behind the brown. Plays this shot pretty well, although he's still going to have a right part of the table available here for Murphy to try and make his way out of this situation. So Murphy just making his way down the table to see. I mean, we've got less reds to deal with. We've had 4 of those taking out and 11 more remaining here. So off the right part of the table that you can try and send the cue ball onto. It's all about the target area, which probably has to be the 3 reds still being on the black ball cushion quite close to each other. The only minute problem is going to be the fact that Murphy may have to take the shot off 2 cushions, and he has. So this time around, let's have a look if this was Chomp's plan all along, and he was always just going to go for this red into the right middle, which Murphy was always going to leave for him. And he had taken this escape route, and it seems like he will. So he clearly has an impact in the mentality that you'll have in trying to win this match, and he seems to have been working out brilliantly so far as he gets another red in. And it's all about the colour that is going to be quite difficult to find. He's got the blue to be taken into the right corner. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long shot if there ever was one. And it's a good line. It's a really good line. The blue is in. Now needs the cue ball to slow down. And he's going to be all right, no matter what, because he's got a shot into the middle. And finally, and after all that work, Judd finally finds himself ahead in this frame, making a break of 6 points. So only a minor advantage, but at least he's got a couple of reds to try and make his way through, in addition to the one that he potted already into this very pocket. And despite it being a really good escape from Murphy's point of view, and you know, he could not have done anything better on that shot that he's had. It's still going to be advantage Trump. And he can try and play those couple of reds with the blue. It might not feel like he's going to score a lot of points, but still going to be better than nothing. And has the cue ball to bounce away all the way onto the black ball cushion. Needs it to travel slightly more than he has. And, well, probably just about going to be fine for this one. 12 points is going to be the advantage. So that needs to be extended to around 30 or 40 points. Because probably not possible in the position that he's got. And he's played for the black here, despite having the angle to try and send it for the blue. This is going to be interesting because he clearly tries to get himself on a couple more of those reds to be taken into the right corner. It's very straight on the black though. So let's see if he's going to try and go for a shot with the topspin. He has. He's played it really well. And he may not actually get himself 1 but 3 reds here with a perfect bonus. Because of basically he bounced one of those reds away, which got the other 2 available, and he takes 2 into the right corner pocket, you would feel, and he takes the 3rd one into the left part of the table as well. That's going to get you points, and that's all that Judd needs right now. He was around 8 of those away from being the champion in the previous frame, but surely this is going to be the way forward, as the match playing time is going to go over 4 hours. As the cue ball to bounce away, but yeah, of course, unfortunately, he needed to try and get the cue ball to be bouncing off the right side cushion onto the left part of the table. Because, as I say, 2 of those reds need to be taken into the right corner. And only 1 of them will go into the left part of it. Ooh, that's a really risky shot, but really well played once again there by Chomp. And this is going to be one of the clearances of the tournament. If he makes it, especially in the last frame, the one that counts here for Chomp. Has got a bit of the points cushion already here to Murphy. And that's not going to be improved on. And he's quite lucky with the way the cue ball's rattled in the jaws of the green pocket. He's going to stay all the way up to the very top of the table. So he's got 29 points as his advantage. And 75 still available here to be taken. There's no way Shaun catches up. Probably not. But you know, I'd say at 9-4, you've got more you've got more of a chance than at 9-3, and you can try and keep that streak going as long as you can. The problem is he probably won't, because this is going to be a really nasty frame for him to make his way through, especially being 29 points behind. And even though he's got 75 points available, I think it's just a matter of time until Chomp is going to be the one trying to set the pace to this match. And therefore, just inevitably putting slightly too much pressure on Shaun Murphy, but for now it's the Chomp that he's forced to take a risky safety shot, which he plays to absolute perfection once again. And getting the cue ball to be pretty much covered up by the green of 3 cushion escape. Brilliant shot there by Judd because of how little of that red he could see. And still how much of a damage he was able to do here to Murphy. You can see with his face expression there, he had 5 already in the 10 seconds that he was looking at this shot. And yeah, you can see just acknowledgement of the safety that was played by Trump previously. So, gives a real nudge to one of these reds. Gets the cue ball to be closer to the yellow pocket. And pushes the pink to be in open play as well. For now, of course, with the black after it was missed by Trump. He's going to be in a bit of a problem position, especially for one of the players to get on it. And Trump just giving one of the reds closest to the left side cushion there. And at the same time being placed on the black ball cushion perfectly. A little nudge. Gets it into the open play. And this got Shaun Murphy thinking because he's got a 3-ball plant which looks nothing close to the pocket. But, you know, maybe worth taking on at 9-4 down. Especially with the cue ball being guided away to the top part of the table. He's tried it. It hasn't worked out. And now he needs to make sure he's got the cue ball back up. And he does. But I don't think he's got the lack back up on this one. And the red that he's missed, he's going to be going over the left corner. So, Murphy's not as fearless as he projects. Well, I don't think it's about that, to be fair. I just think he's, you know, when you're 9-4 down, you can take 2 options. And one of them is going to be trying to take conservative snooker, and the other one just going all-out attack. And I know which one Trump would have chosen, because I've seen it before against Selby. In the end, it didn't really lead to a positive outcome. And he now gets this red in, but unlikely to get on the next colour. So just trying to take his time, but playing the patience game as well. And yeah, just making sure he's going to be covering the most dangerous of those reds close to the right corner. And despite him being quite far away in terms of points, he's not too far away when it comes to just taking those reds one by one. And he's got the brown, he's got the green, he's got the black, and he's got a couple of those reds in very difficult positions there, Murphy. So this is going to be probably even more difficult than the previous frame because despite there being more points into it, it was a straightforward clearance with no problem reds at all. This one has got a couple of problem reds and colours. And he has got Judd playing quite well whilst having that 30 points advantage next to his name. And how come you can't show it on YouTube? Because of the broadcasting rights. And WSD have finally figured it out after, I don't know, 15 or more years that have been showing it that, you know, if you're going to have someone showing your broadcast, then you better be shutting it down with the copyrights. So, another mistake there by Murphy. And another chance for Judd to be edging closer to this German Masters title. Number 4. For number... Ooh, I mean, it's a really good shot there that he's played in terms of getting the cue ball somehow away from those reds. And he got the black to be on the top part of the table, which worked in his favour as well. And once again, as I say, he just lands another red there, getting 31 points of an advantage. And if he cuts the blue in, I mean, this has to be a fine margin of a shot, because if he misses it, he may just turn into a similar story to the previous frame, but he hasn't missed the blue. But I think he is going to miss the boat with the positional shot here. And one of the only positions of the cue ball placement on the lower part of the table. But he's not going to see enough of those reds. So 36 points. He's going to be the advantage here. 59 still at the table. Let's see if Trump is able to get through to this red, because it passes. It's second closest to the right part of the table. Just about drops this one in. Wobbled. But ultimately dropped in. And now 45 points. Place 8 here in Trump's favour. So basically needs 2 more reds. And, well, ideally 1 more red with 1 more colour. And he should be away into that German title. Being very much his for the taking once again. You can try and go for this red into the right corner. So 42 points is the advantage. So that's going to leave 43 being the advantage right now. And 43 at the table. After he takes the red into the right corner. And he does. So just an expensive colour needed. And he's going to be done with the blue. And, well, We've said the thing about Shaun Murphy. He's played a wonderful part to this tournament, trying to reach the final stage. In the end, hasn't quite performed at the one-table format here in the final. But in this time, GG's match. Well, just wait for the blue to disappear as well, as it does. And, I mean, look at that for a shot. It was a really good effort there by Chomp. It is certainly now going to be a good game for the match. And, yep, that is the end of this. Of course, Murphy will come back for the battle to continue. You know, he's got 2 snookers to try and find right now. But maybe this raid is going to just settle all the arguments. No, he won't. So Murphy will still try and battle this one out. Although he doesn't really have all the tools that he'll need. He's got the black and the green so close to each other. And, you know, that's going to boost his chances slightly. But the fact that he needs to find 2 snookers, despite still, you know, not really having an easy way onto getting this red and the black combination. So that's what he's played for. But, I mean, he's just about okay for the black to be taken. I mean, I'm not sure what he's playing for here. So he's taking the yellow on because that's going to be forcing himself to be finding 3 snookers instead. That's the case. And the task that would have been impossible has become even more difficult somehow. 45 points is the difference. 35 at the table. 3 snookers needed. And, yeah, there's a couple of colour combinations there, but this might be the last shot that he's played, Murphy. And probably not a handshake for the respect of Chomp, just to taking this red in, but it's 1 shot away from Judd Chomp making history and making this one for German titles for him. And he certainly is going to be the Weltmeister here, because it is Judd Chomp on top of Shaun Murphy, and there's not going to be any more shots being played from Murphy's point of view. He's played his part, but in the end, Chomp was just way too strong for him here. And as the black disappears, so do the chances of Shaun Murphy of making this incredible comeback. And full congratulations to Judd Chomp. Exactly 14 months on the 1st of December in 2024. He won his last title prior to this day against Barry Hawkins. There was a massive fist bump in the air. In the end, there's no need for it here, because he's managed to take it into a very comfortable win. Murphy should be congratulated for making the final. Yes, he's done a really good job, and full credit to him. But in the end, only one of the players could be the champion, and this champion is going to be Judd Chomp. Nearly said Shaun Murphy in the end, because he went to congratulate him, and so is the referee. We're not going to be here around for the trophy celebration, but it is Judd Chomp's show, and he makes it 10 frames to 4. How much is he going to earn? He's going to get £100,000 and keep all the ranking points that he managed to win in 2024, because he gets those wiped away for the German Masters in 2024, but he's going to get brand new ones in 2026. It's glory for Chomp, it is disappointment for Murphy, but he'll be back surely for the World Grand Prix for one of these 2 players to be a real threat, to be making it all the way to the final. Shaun Murphy loses his 2nd final of the season out of the 3 that he's played. And in the end, at last, in the 4th attempt, Judd Chomp is able to make it past the Englishman in the final. It was Jack Lisowski in Belfast. It was Mark Selby twice at the Champion of Champions and the UK Championship. And at the 4th time of asking, it is Judd Chomp's show. And he will be the one defending the title next year. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. As ever, as I say, going to be back with the World Grand Prix next week. Going to be slightly different timings, but certainly going to be a lot of entertainment for us to witness. And featuring very much the best players in the world. Still going to be a ranking event. We've seen Judd Chomp win one now this season. Is it going to be Karen Wilson, John Higgins, Ronnie O'Sullivan, or Zhaozing Tonstern to try and get us closer to having the top 10 players to all would have won at least one ranking title this season? For now, though, that's the last you'll hear from me. And feel free to be tuned in for the World Grand Prix in a couple of days' time. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you around after a wonderful German Masters here at the Tempodrome in Berlin.